I'm not out to put anybody down. No one. I don't want to be drawn into so-and-so and so-and-so, and he's putting down so-and-so. No, I don't have time for that. People like myself, we're quick to forgive. We're quick to embrace. We'll be like somebody says, I'm sorry for it. You got me. Let's celebrate. That's how we are. Instantly forgive. This has got to stop. This garbage of false glory has got to stop, and I'm tired of it. Let's stop being turned on each other. And let's stop looking for ways to accuse each other of turning on each other. And let's start lifting each other. And we've got this. Those 14 other screenplays going on 15 that I have is for the New World Order, New World. That is our people.
Yeah.
So I am presenting my dear.
This is a big mistake because she's already got a huge ego.
I do not have a huge ego.
You're feeding the beast.
I don't have a huge ego. I have a huge sense of.
This is the birthday
God. I gotta film this.
Oh, I
And
love
so
it.
it goes to who I consider should be honorary Queen of the World for your courage,
Thank you.
brilliance, beauty, compassion, divine feminine, and never say no.
Thank you, baby.
There you are.
I so appreciate
You
that.
have earned that, Mother.
Of
You
course,
are.
I remember when I was
or whatever
running
his
for
name is.
president as a socialist, and I'd go out there and I'd say, socialism is the only thing that can save America.
Yeah, if I'm a fraud, bring it on. Let's do it. Come on, it'll be easy to debunk if I'm a fraud. I'm not out to put any.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the Yissilmissil Productions channel. My name is Steven Yissil. And today, let's talk about it. hope you all had a good week. This is going to be a good show. So, I got to work a little bit on that new intro. I was like to the minute before we went live here. So, a little ironing out, it'll be all good. But that's just a small taste of what I'm compiling together, of all these little contradicting clips of Tom Althouse. So if you're here, drop a like down below. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And today we're going to get a little further into this Tom Althouse topic. This is sort of a wrap-up show before we get into the nitty-gritty. So we're just gonna give it a few minutes, let people come in here, and we will get going. Alright, so I found my folder that I had all of these older Althouse shows in from other people, from other channels. I wasn't sure what to pick for today. There's so much material. But we also know it's very repetitive with Tom, so anyways, I do want to say here now that this channel has been shadow banned for quite a long time because I cannot really broadcast to my audience in real time. Do you understand that? Like, I get the reach with Reels, but it seems like YouTube's limiting what audience I have on my lives, because it should be a lot more. It should be tens, hundreds of people watching. On a 2,000 sub channel, at least 10 people watching. But it's crazy, no one here, but I continue on. So, I wanted to cover either Aquarius Rising Africa or Carmen Smith Studer today. And Carmen Smith Studer actually did a show with Tom Althouse and Michael Jako, Yako, Wacko. I don't know what happened with all of that, but it connected more dots. We have Carmen Smith Studer, who dropped interviewing Tom Althouse, supposedly. She just stopped doing the shows. And this is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of here, is why are all of these hosts going silent once they stop interviewing Tom Althouse? And maybe they're just sick and tired of the guy, but you would think that they'd put something out there explaining why. Not just let's move on to the next topic, the next guest. I don't get it. But yeah, we got a lot of material to pull from here. Crazy. Absolutely crazy, YouTube. I'm saying this directly to YouTube. You're doing something here that, I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What am I to do, though? What am I to do? I'll give this a few more minutes before we jump in here. But I have shows going back to 2021 of all these other guests, or all these other shows that Tom was a guest on. Got the Mark Atwood Show, Adventures in a Cosmic Suit. Got Aquarius Rising Africa, Carmen Smith-Studer, Mary Crowley, Right On Radio, Zero Infinity, Cha Money, which is one of the first few interviews that I watched before bringing Tom onto this channel. If you want to search for Aquarius Rising Africa on your own, there's 2 different channels on YouTube of that. Hey Zen, I see you there. It's crazy. I had to go into Messenger and tell Zen that we were live. So YouTube's clearly not sending the notifications out to anybody. Are you afraid what I'm gonna do next week? But as I was saying, Aquarius Rising Africa has 2 channels. One of them's called Aquarius Rising Africa 2. Another one is called Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa. Both of those channels have Althouse videos. There's one in particular where Tom said that he was going to be releasing the script to the whole world. That it's ours now. Like, it's the world's script. He basically gave up the copyright doing that, right? At least that's my understanding of it. I'm feeling the shadow ban today. I'm feeling it. But you know, the reels did really well overnight. Over 1,000 views overnight with that. But here, no audience, right? And I'm on both YouTube and Rumble right now. It's freaking crazy. I should just share my desktop here. Let me show you this just so you get an idea. Look at this. It says 2 viewers on Rumble here, right? It says 1 viewer here. It's not crazy. It shouldn't be that way. Man. So anyways, I have an intro that I put together for the show, but like no one's here. It's wild. what am I to do? Usually I have like 3, 4, 5 people. Like, this gets out there. I don't know what the problem is today. I don't feel like starting yet. It's like I'm literally just talking to myself, recording ahead of time, in a way, right? What to do? What to do? Well, anyways, I hope you all enjoyed last week's show. I did let everyone know that I'm doing this again today at 11. So, here I am. It's just, awesome. Okay, John's here. John says, I'm here, but leaving soon. Gotta get ready for the storm. Storm? Yeah, it's decent weather here in Chicagoland. We were gonna go over one of these videos. Really, this is just a prep before we look through a lot of material. Honestly, it's crazy. The amount of interviews that Tom has done, it's like he flooded the internet with his bullshit, hoping something would stick. Who am I to say? So, I do know that, you know, we'll look at one in particular today. A channel that removed the Tom Althouse interviews they did. Not Emma from the Imagination podcast, but Carmen Smith-Studer, who, funnily enough, used to collaborate with Mr. Yako. So it's I have one video here. Well, I have a lot, but one in particular that caught my eye is Carmen Smith-Studer's show from March 29th, 2021. So we're coming up 5 years ago. But it's with Tom and Angela. So I really wonder what that's all about. Okay, so I guess we'll just jump right into this. We'll get through it, and I'll share my thoughts as we go here. And we're gonna do this at 1.5 speed.
This is Carmen Studer, and I have a really amazing couple of guests today. The first one is Tom Althouse, and many of you who follow Michael Jaco, who found me through him, will have heard of Tom.
Everybody,
and he's also joining us with his beautiful manager. And what else is Angela to you, Tom?
Unmuting. Yes. She's basically the person that saved us, along with my mom. So yeah, she's we owe our lives for when they were trying to 302 attempts and everything, which they do on people they want to knock down the other side.
Who is that?
Yeah, so she made it possible for us to keep going strong.
I love it. Well, so anybody that doesn't know who Tom is, Tom has written an incredible screenplay called The Immortals that was taken from him and used, and somebody made about $1 billion plus on it. Not you. He really is a very entertaining person. You'll find out he's fun, he's entertaining, he's a conqueror. I mean, he's totally an overcomer. Like, I don't even want to say a survivor. You're a conqueror. You also have you're a warrior for children, which is, I think, the pillar that made me fall in love with you and your story. The way that you speak about what inspires you, because many of you already know Tom has lost 2 of his children through this process that he's been fighting. We'll call it the shadow, the people that aren't there, that are. And then Angela is so wonderful. She's his manager, but she's also an angel. And this is confirmed by God and Jesse's voter.
So a lot of names are coming up here. Jesse Zaboter. That could be a whole show in itself. But this Angela, this manager named Angela that's with Tom. What's this? And where'd she go? Why'd she leave?
Desi says you're an angel. And I wanted to share with you guys, I meditated and got into kind of my God space before I got on. And I saw a couple of things. One, I don't know why, for you, Tom, I saw a starfish. So I'll have to find out more about what a starfish is. But I do know that they grow back limbs and they're pretty flippin' amazing. And I love the star concept, so that was really cool. And Angela, I saw you on a dark horse and you were coming, it was like the world was here and you were like just flying and you were just starting to overcome it. Does that make sense? Wow. Yeah. That's starting to overcome the world. And then I also saw you, Tom, being a director. I don't know if you even have a desire to be a director, but for some reason I saw that you were directing something. Then I got a message about your daughter. I heard, she is mine. She is mine. Yeah. And then I got one for your sister, and I have no idea what this one means. You're gonna have to interpret it at a later date, but it was Glory Hanger. Glory Hanger. So, but that's what we're gonna start with today. Mm-hmm. But tell me where you are right now with the process.
Well, moved right now by what you...
I just want to know, who is this? This is like the only female on camera with this dude.
Just said. So that's the immediate. So yeah, whoa, that was hard. Powerful. But yeah, we are right at the process now where we're understanding the inner workings, like you said, the shadow. What do we call that? What do we call the other side? And it's like there's this graying of really, it's humanity struggling with itself to take the next level. And it's like...
John says, this is giving me the same vibes as VB, Veronica Bartolucci. Yeah.
Like, that's really what's going on. So we're at war with ourselves when it really comes down to it. And we, at the same flip of the coin, we are able to lift ourselves as a group and achieve and evolve. And I think we're being watched as we do, and measured. And so that's what seems to come through for me, is that humanity can do it. We can do it. We have everything we need. We have the hearts, the hands, everything. And someone was talking recently, and it stood out to me that these hands they don't have claws.
The reason we're watching this today is because I want to know what happened to all of his help here. These 2 women that are in this interview with, like, what happened to them? Why did the host decide to not have Tom on anymore? And what happened to Angela? Tom's manager, or you could say handler, right? Okay, Zenray says, I remember seeing her. I believe he referred to her as his girlfriend at the time. So I guess he brought her on camera with him at first, calling her his manager, and eventually he's just like, okay, I'll let it out. We're in a relationship, right? Is that what he said about her? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to understand, like, what was the fallout with them? Because it seems there's this pattern with Tom where there's fallout after fallout after fallout. There's only so many skeletons Tom can stuff in his closet before they don't fit anymore. So we're just looking at the ones that are like have already fallen out.
They're not made for attacking. They're not made for hurting each other. They're made for so moved, embracing and building. Sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. That just means you increase your capacity for love right then, at that moment.
Yeah, that's what it's about. We're all on the same team. Anybody breathing right now is on the same team. And It's amazing. We're getting offers coming in now, and we're learning that there isn't really, when you come down to it, there really isn't evil people. That's a tough thing to put out there. It's really not that people are evil. They've chosen to put their feelings in the freezer. They've chosen that success, power, image is their gods. But they can remove them from the shelf, and they can actually lift up again what matters, each other, life. I had someone very wise speak to me just recently and said, Tom, not everybody's equal. And telling Tom that is like you're risking a response right away, like, But they're right. They're right. We're not all equal. Some of us are given the capacity to create, be visionaries, and lift. We are, and it was a pill for me to swallow. It's like I would go around saying before Carmen, anybody could write what I wrote. Anybody could write what I wrote. But no, they couldn't. They'd have to have the life experiences I had, which I wouldn't want them to be put through. And I would like them to have the ending I have with a beautiful woman sitting here and surrounded by angels like yourself and all these people coming forward. So I'd like them to have that ending. But the thing is, we are not all created equal. We are given different skill sets, different abilities, and mine was writing and having a heart for.
I wonder how much Tom is going to let Angela talk here. And you can see his name on Zoom is Tom and Angela.
For a world through writing, and so that's what I've done in performance. And so I understand that now, and that's what the group that's calling the shots right now to change our world are saying. We need to realize we're not all equal. Fair enough, and let's all do our parts to have us all equally succeed.
Yeah, well, just different pieces to the puzzle for sure.
Right.
So Angela, you are probably one of the bravest women in the universe. Like I just see you as Wonder Woman. And so what is it about you that allows for you to see beyond the fear and hold that vision of faith? And then how did you know that this was a worthy man?
Oh my God, I sense things. There's the layers of thinking. There's, I wonder that about myself oftentimes, and I just I don't feel any real threats. Like I know they're there, but I feel like the shield of protection around us. And I kind of, it reminds me of, what are those movies called? The Twilight movies.
The feeling of threats is probably the vibe coming off Tom. People can lie to themselves thinking that everything's okay. I've fallen victim to this. We're all fallible. But I want to know what happened to this woman.
Okay, in Twilight, the Bella, that's her name, right? Bella, where her gift turns out to be when she holds somebody's hand, it's a bubble of protection. I'm not saying I have that. I'm just saying that's what I sense.
Yes.
So when when he holds her hand and he's like, I feel nothing. Okay, well, it turns out that her gift was protection, and I just sense this protection around us, and it's just strange. And and I don't think about the fear. It's like I know I could go down into that part of myself, and I could just envelop myself in in what other people do, and just be afraid. But I don't allow myself to because I don't see that.
Yeah.
Because
How long have you been on the journey with him? Because I know he's done some of this alone.
Since last summer.
Oh wow! So you're kind of new to it.
Yeah, I am. And I knew it was real, because I've seen I've got my hands, the screenplays right here.
Yes.
I've witnessed so.
Noticed she says she's seen the screenplay. She never said that she read it, right?
Much of what I just can't even explain to other people. It's like if I could just, if you just give me your ear, but then there's a lot of people that just wouldn't really believe. It's like people that are far away from you, watch you from a screen, they're more likely to believe than your family that's right next to you. And there's just so many different things that people don't,
Absolutely. And so, in Tom's history, he's had actual setups with women before.
Right.
So, Tom, what made you realize that this was the real deal and that she wasn't the enemy within?
That's a great question. To survive all this, I had to go on, I think a lot of people would understand this, gut. And what is that? What does that mean? Is gut part of a faith walk? What is gut? And so I would have to go on that. I'd have to be able to measure people rapidly and quickly. You get calls from all around the world, and people basically are saying the same thing. They're very flattering, and I appreciate that, and they're very lifting. They usually start out the conversation with, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to you," or "You picked up the phone." You probably have the same thing, and then they'll say something which is very endearing, but then they'll say, "It's such an honor," and they'll give you a lot of lifting and praise, which is very sweet, especially after journeys we've all had.
Yeah, because you're trying to take claim for the largest blockbuster of 1999. Like, one of the most permeating films in modern culture to this day. Where a lot of the stuff happening in our social media uses the term red pill. It comes from the Matrix trilogy. But this guy didn't write that.
Where you're isolated, alienated, hit upon, gang stalked, gaslighted. So it's very refreshing to hear it. But you look for that standout. You look for somebody.
He's soaking in all of this admiration from other people for something he didn't achieve. It's infuriating, really.
Is going to say something that you haven't heard before. And one of the things that Angela didn't say to me, which it really stood out to me, and I told her, was, why me? Why me? So it turns the tables around. She didn't say to me, why'd you pick me? And I've heard that from just about everybody that comes to me. Say the same thing, why me? And she didn't say that. She had the presence and the power in her to not need to say that, and also to call me on stuff. It's like, it's not a fairy tale. It's not, Prince Charming and, entangled. What it is it's two people that are trying to have families and live their life and also make a difference while taking care of kids, while making dinners, while hanging laundry, doing dishes. We have to live our lives while we do this and try to save a world, basically. And it's like The Incredibles, where you have to, take care of it at the same time taking the baby. But I saw it in her that, she could hold her own. And if she didn't like something I'm doing, she calls it out. She doesn't go like, "Oh my God, you're such an amazing guy, and world, whatever you say is right." No, it's not like that. So that's cool. That's refreshing. So yeah.
They basically send you the Stepford wife to make you happy.
Right?
They send you the yes.
Bored with that.
Zenray says, this host is following the false white light. Very new age. I understand what you're saying, Zen, but why are you saying that? What gets me is Michael Jaco's the one that connected her to Tom. So Michael Jaco's been involved in this for over 5 years. This is a really wide web of people that are... I don't even know how to articulate my thoughts here on this. When it comes to me, I'll say something. Zenray says maybe that's what she did. Asked too many questions in the end. Well, it's like I can't believe anything that I've been told by Tom at this point. Because I had asked about her and he kind of glossed over it like it wasn't important. But for Aquarius Rising Africa with Chantel, Tom said that she called him yelling and screaming at him and he called her a witch. So I don't know what's going on. Zenray says because she said she saw a vision of Tom directing. Oh. Over this past week, I've realized I have so much content that I have not released from this whole thing. So much to go over, not only in this folder of like previous hosts, but even my personal collection of archive material, stuff that I haven't posted online publicly that I think we can get some information out of. Zenray says she opens her whole interview with him what felt like a false white light message. Okay, I'll accept that. I mean, we're at 12 minutes. Let's listen to that one more time.
Hello, everybody. This is Carmen Studer, and I have a really amazing couple of guests today. The first one is Tom Althouse, and many of you who follow Michael Jaco, who found me through him, will have heard of Tom.
Everybody,
and he's also joining us with his beautiful manager. And what else is Angela to you, Tom?
Unmuting. Yes. She's basically the person that saved us along with my mom. So yeah, she's we owe her our lives for when they were trying these 302 attempts and everything, which they do on people they want to knock down on the other side.
Yeah.
And, so she made it possible for us to keep going strong.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, so anybody that doesn't know who Tom
She asked Angela to speak, and Tom just spoke for her right there. You notice that? She didn't even get a word in.
is, Tom has written an incredible.
And by the way, every time I pause and play, there's digital glitch on the faces. That happens with the pause and play feature in VLC. It's digital artifacts.
Screenplay called The Immortals that was taken from him and used, and somebody made about $1 billion plus on it. Not you. He really is a very entertaining person. You'll find out he's fun, he's entertaining, he's a conqueror. I mean, he's totally an overcomer. Like, I don't even want to say a survivor. You're a conqueror. You also have you're a warrior for children, which is, I think, the pillar that made me fall in love with you.
I think it's a facade. I really... Okay. I just wanted to see the beginning part of that again, and that was 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Right at the start. That's the whole thing, right at the start.
We're back at the 12-minute mark.
I'm just like, oh my god. Like when I saw the Stepford Wives, I was just like, the whole time, like this horror. But it's like, that's some guys' ideals, Hollywood guys' ideals. Like, oh my god. And then they keep saying they're gonna send you starlets, and these women arrive and they're just like, I'm for you. That's one of the words they'll say, like, I'm for you. And we're gonna be with you. Sometimes they say, we're gonna be with you. Multiple women say it.
Me and all my personalities.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty wild.
And he asked me, what made me, realize that he's worthy.
Yeah.
It was just about being a real person. He makes me laugh. It's hilarious.
So funny.
You just
He is truly entertaining.
Thanks, guys, Blush.
Yes.
I think that you two should have a YouTube channel. Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yes, we talked about that.
That's gonna be in the works. That's gonna be
Yes.
fun. Yeah. And you're a guest. You're on.
Yes, I want to come.
I'll have a lot of fun with it.
Anytime your name comes up, we'll go, my Carmen's so awesome. She's the best. She's a doll. She's darling. She's incredible. So yeah.
And he's-
I won't say why me.
No, I know. Thank you. I'll give away my secret. Yeah. Secret's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about, like, you talked about it on so many different shows, all of the agony that you've been through. And so I was thinking that maybe we could go a different route.
Sure.
And talk about the Angela's taken the dark horse and she's overcome the world, and you're the starfish and you've got your new limbs, and the star is upon you, the safety, the bubble, all of the stuff. And so where do you guys fit in when you look at, and I'm sure you're both familiar with, like, the 7 mountains of Revelations. And so I actually wrote them down here. There's education, religion, family, business, government, arts and entertainment, and media. And so you guys kind of cover a lot of those.
We do.
When we think about ushering in, this, 1,000 years of peace or whatever it is after we go through this harvest, where do you see you being placed and being used in the future, assuming that it truly is done?
That's a great
My
question.
goodness, we have got so many skills that would just go
I know,
in so many different directions with that. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
It is. It's funny you said family too, because we just the daughter and her friends here too. So you'll hear family in the background, which is the warriors in this world now, the ones that are actually making a difference, like all of us and people listening in.
Is this her
we have family.
place? He moved into her place? Is that what I'm getting?
The future, assuming that it truly is done.
That's a great
My
question.
goodness, we
Yeah.
have got so many skills that would just go
I
in
know.
so many different directions with that. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
It is. It's funny you said family too, because we just the daughter and her friends here too. So you'll hear family in the background, which is the warriors in this world now, the ones that are actually making a difference, like all of us and people listening in. We have families, and so why not?
He said the daughter and her friends are there right now. So I guess it could be Tom's place, but I mean, minor details. Not important to the overall issue here.
Celebrate that laughter and the sounds of playing and things like that while we do our fight. It's
Yeah.
like baby in one hand, sword in the other.
And then enriching,
Yeah.
we have the possibilities of enriching other families with, you know, what we've been through with our skill sets, with
Right.
training and theater and just so much.
And then the layered thinking with the education, which was really appealing to me because that's where I want to fit in. So it's kind of like that education and religion and entertainment. And so if
Also, I want to point something out here. What is going on with those door handles? I just thought that's kind of odd.
you go forward, do you see yourself doing more than just this screenplay?
Yes. You want to answer that one? Go ahead.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
you know.
he has 14 other ones, you know, that he's holding back. And then, you know, just the time that we've been together, he's had so many ideas that come to him that he writes down. He doesn't tell me about, you know, I know that they're there because he starts writing. So he has, I mean, there's so many more beyond the 14 in the works that he can provide. And I mean, he can produce.
So 14 other works. He never tells anybody about them, just that they exist. What kind of creator does that? Like, I have scripts that like I've written a lot that are like unfinished, but like I've shared them, and this guy's trying to claim The Matrix, which his one script that he says is it's based on doesn't compare to it. So what does that say? I know we mentioned that one of the scripts is the Dream movie that he says Christopher Nolan took. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know anymore.
He could direct, he can
Which I want to do. Yeah.
produce, direct, plays, teach.
Yeah, I want to do these different things, and with Angela too. It's like we've gotten calls from all over the place. Like I said, it's really cool. But there is a golden age coming. There really is a golden age coming. I mean, I'm not the only artist that's sitting back with all these things, waiting for the.
You can like take Tom at any given point in time, and he's around different people, saying the same shit, making the same empty promises, all these ideas, all of these plans and goals that never pan out. Do you notice that?
Change happened while trying to facilitate that change by working with great people like yourself. I mean, you know about like all these interviews are being struck now, and they're threatening to strike with pages now that I have. But that just means that the birth of the baby's coming. No.
I wonder how many of these struck interviews are self-inflicted by him.
This is going to be a great world, and all you that held in there, all that are listening that held in and hoped and kept hope alive, it'll be well worth it. It's good things are coming. Good things are coming.
Well, you're right, because the last time I saw you, it was you and I and Michael Jaco and Jesse, and I think there was like over 150,000.
170, yeah.
170, yeah. And that one got taken off, and then of course Michael lost his channel. But what's so cool is everyone loves you. They all find you so fun and so fun.
So Michael Jaco lost his channel and the video had 160,000 views? I'd like to know what he lost his channel over.
Funny, and like there's this familiarity and there's this family feel, like not just with the people that are on the screen, but with everyone. And I can't tell you how many people are praying for you. Like,
I really wouldn't be surprised if Michael Jaco's channel got terminated because of the Jibby. If you talked about that back in 2021, they were striking channels left and right for that one.
Yeah.
I think that's your bubble, Angela. So
Yeah, and you feel it, you know, don't you? You feel it. It's
And
like
right.
the prayers we know they're coming from around the world. We'll see it on Twitter as our account still survives there, and then people calling in. And prayer does work. I mean, that sounds like such a simple thing to say. I mean, redone. But redo. But the thing is that you feel it when you're isolated and alienated in this process. You feel the pain of that. You feel like it almost is like a force hitting you. And then when you feel the lifting of the power of the love and the prayer and support, you feel it. You actually feel good and lifted.
yeah.
And there's that amazing point where they're coming both ways. When they're slamming the one side, slamming at you, other hate, the other side slamming other love. And you just feel like you got wings on, you know, like you're Gabriel. So it's like, yeah.
And that's part of my own personal lifeline too, is, you know, praying the protection, praying exactly, you know, knowing exactly how to pray, what to pray for.
Yeah.
And I always, you know, I think about medieval times. the king and the queen. The queen would go before the king and shield him.
In chess, too.
And in this, yes, and in the spiritual world, it's the same way.
It really is. I see so many women stepping up. I mean, that's what Right on Radio was talking to me last night actually, and had some great ideas for business things. But he was saying, Jeff was saying, it's the women that are stepping up like crazy. The women are stepping up like crazy. I said, that's so cool. It's like, the Amazon's just coming up. And,
and there's people like you and Jeff and Michael Jaco who are allowing for that divine masculine.
He's pulling on the heartstrings of all these women because he's talking about the missing children, and he incorporates that into his own story of whatever unfortunately happened to his 2 sons, and he tries to conflate that with the alphabet agencies doing that. Like, I don't know. He saw that the missing children thing was a good topic to latch on to. Like, I don't know anymore. It seems he just likes to talk about himself, right? His fictitious version of himself. That's all he likes to talk about. Like I said on one of these Let's Talks, what children has he helped in that way? As far as the missing children go. If he's so passionate about that, why hasn't he collaborated with anyone working on that stuff? All these people are freely giving him advice and trying to network with him, and nothing ever pans out.
To be the pillar for the women,
Nice.
which is really amazing. I mean, I cannot thank Michael Jaco enough for, he's changed my life. He really has, because I had this obscure, kind of quiet life. Everything was great, and I didn't realize how hungry people were for the very things that I have learned and really mastered. I'm like Angela, I'm fearless. Like when I was working with my guys out of jail, I'd go into some of the worst parts of Dallas, and people would be like, "What are you doing there?" And I just said, "I just know I'm okay." Would I go there today? No. But at that point in time, I was anointed to do that. And so at this point in time, Angela, this is what you're anointed to do. And I think that it's really cool that you're stepping up and full out in your power and authority.
That's backwards.
Hey, Frankie D420, good to see you here.
Scripture, yeah. And I often ask myself, what's the worst that could happen? So you put before yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And then it kind of puts things in perspective. And then also, we've been through some really horrible things, and I always, in the midst of it, all this can work out for something really beautiful. It has.
Yeah.
The all things work together for the good of those who are called according to his purpose.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. It's even if you go through horrible stuff, even if you're played against each other, it's the opportunity for forgiveness and lifting each other. So everything is an opportunity. You were talking about it too. Everything's an opportunity for good. So even if we're played like that one group played us so badly, where everything came to the complete nightmare, perfectly timed, and came back. We're forgiving each other. We're lifting each other. We say we're both at fault for being played, and we're back. And we're strong. We're back on our horse. So it's like, yeah. So they can only get us down so long.
In many different ways, a lot of good came out of it.
A lot of good, and it allows us to encourage others too. But it's amazing. I think, I'm thinking right now, the most beautiful.
We're watching a now struck interview from Carmen Studer. Carmen Smith Studer. And this is from 2021, March 29th.
Beautiful sound we can hear is children laughing.
Yeah.
And what a great moment right now. I'm glad you scheduled for 4. Because it's like, I hear it in the background while we talk, and I'm like, yeah, that's the music. That's the music of humanity.
Yes. People ask me what my favorite song is, and like the sound of my kids talking to me. Absolutely all day long. That's my favorite sound.
And what is masculinity? You brought it up. What is it? What's real masculinity? Now, Hollywood was trying to turn that around. And you said about the screenplay. Well, hold up a second.
Oh yeah, let's talk. Whatever you want, just go.
Well, this actually is what brought forward the idea.
So this is the first one that he paraded around and put post-it notes in. The second one he got in 2023. It looks a lot newer, but apparently it's all the same content inside of it. So from a technical standpoint, yes, Tom has the Immortal script in the Copyright Office. He was able to get a copy for himself because he is the author of it. The Copyright Office requires written permission from any author you're requesting copies of scripts from. So that's one thing that Tom didn't mention when he said you guys can all go out there and find it for yourself. But he had many parts of his script up on his website prior to that getting struck as well. Again, no solid answer as to why that happened. But we can speculate. Whoever was helping him with the website, he caused a fissure there too, and they took it down. What am I to say?
Yeah, which really hit it back in 92, 93, about women being the hero, women leading the way, women doing, and these girls in California actually pointed out that that's where this whole femme fatale started, which is now an item in Hollywood idea, where she sacrificed herself for her man, and her man could not have done it if it wasn't for the woman. And that is done exactly as they did it in Game of Thrones afterwards, where the woman takes the grenade, whatever, hoses up against herself, lets all these things attack her, and then it goes off. That's in our screenplay. That's from 92, 93. And so Hollywood picked it up. Now we have directors and producers calling from Hollywood saying, we're still using your ideas you came up with.
Yeah.
Like the idea of, running your film and then running your credits 10 minutes into the film. That's done on Walking Dead, too, and all these other Netflix things like that. Which, incidentally, Warner Bros. Attorneys that threw our case first go around are now working for Netflix. So that's the laundering machine. But in it, we're finding things that are just fascinating. The industry says, and we've had some famous people now coming forward, and some top people like SAG heads and things like this.
Who? He talks like there's dozens upon dozens of people that are supporting his claims. Where are they? People in the industry have worked in Hollywood, still working in Hollywood. Where are they? Where are they supporting this guy? I've asked that since the beginning. I've been asking, where are these people? Why aren't they speaking out or speaking in support of Tom? Where are they?
Coming forward and telling people we know, yeah, it's common knowledge that Tom's work was taken. We all know, they always say we know that guy and that his work was taken. We all know that, but we're not supposed to talk about it. And the question, Carmen, is who's bigger than the Pope, basically? Who's bigger than, it's like that joke about the chauffeur. The Pope got tired of waiting. He drove the car and the police pulled him over and goes, I don't know who this guy is, but the Pope's the chauffeur. So it's like, he's bigger than that. But these guys are actually, coming out and saying they can't talk about it. They're the heads of organizations in Hollywood.
Right.
So who's telling them not to talk? So it really gets to the first question when you open up the show. Who has the strings? Who's the puppet masters? Who actually is the ones calling the shots?
Who's behind the curtain?
Who's behind the curtain? Right. And so everything's, because of the one screenplay, which they're saying is, like you said, worth over 1.2 billion now they're saying we're worth. All the ideas were innovative and that new, because I wanted to do only stuff that...
What? Tom read an article about Miramax, about a warehouse that they had all of their... So you think a production studio, production house, especially going back 120 years, even further than that, the late 1800s, the 1890s, studios were producing over 100 films per year. And in the article that Tom is like siphoning this little bit of information out of the 1.2 billion, the person that was being interviewed in that news article about Miramax was speaking about their entire warehouse being worth 1.2 billion. And he's trying to say, no, it's the Immortal script that's worth that much. Yeah, not buying it. Frankie D420 says, lies. All lies. Yeah, I agree with that. So here's the layered thinking, right? And what Tom is doing here. Tom is a snake. I said this on the last show. He layers all of this bullshit and stacks it so high that it's either it's all or nothing with this fucker. You have to either believe everything he's saying, or you're one of them. You're the enemy. Right? He speaks of humility. Has he ever said he's wrong? Other than saying that he was fooled? And when he says that he was fooled and he cuts people off, is it more so that he's been found out? And now he's saying, oh, they're just like everybody else. They're trying to... There's other people calling him a narcissist. His own sister calls him a narcissist. which he doesn't speak to. So who knows?
Was new, and the idea of the woman leading the way. What is masculinity? Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask a guy at the bar, he'll give you one version, if he's, and then you ask the guy who's actually writing stuff and has a heart for it and thinks of his family, he'll give you another answer. And I believe masculinity is warmth, nurturing, dependability, commitment, compassion. That's masculinity. That takes more courage and strength than just swinging your fists around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Biblically, it's providing, protecting.
Yeah, that warmth, that courage, and
So what's the consensus here? These two were together for months? I don't think they made it a year. If they did, that's kind of surprising. She seems really, committed to this, right? So where the fuck is she now? That's all I'm asking here.
you put your family first, and you put loved ones first, and other people's families. You also are there for them. So the innocent, the weak. It sounds like the round table in Camelot, but actually I think they got the right idea.
Yeah,
Why not
absolutely.
be a knight? Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. And so you have more unique ideas coming, huh?
A lot. They keep coming every day. And how does that happen? That's one of the things you said about layered thinking. You're great at it. You just let me right into it.
And none of them are going to be made, right, Tom? The ideas are coming every day. So what are you doing?
Layered thinking. How do you do layered thinking? How does it happen? You've got to have a clear mind. And I don't mean empty it. I mean only positive inputs. If you only have positive inputs, because your mind is a processor. That's what I believe. Your brain processes, right? It's like a computer. So if you put an input into your mind, you're going to have a solution spit out. If you don't like that solution, and it goes again, processing again. If you have negative thoughts in your mind, which I know you don't, but neither does Angela. But if you do, I'm going to just establish that. But if someone puts negative thoughts in their mind, like, okay, I don't like that person, I want them destroyed. Well, then your mind's going to start processing that and put something forward. Well, I can't do that. That's not right. It's against the law. Back in it goes. Choose again. We can't have these negative inputs. If people are writers and they want to create great work, put positive inputs. Really clear the mind of all negative. You don't have to empty the head. Just put positive only in it. And that's possible. And put thoughts of your loved ones in layers. All different, pack it with that. And your mind will produce great stuff and warm stuff. And you can be a real masculine guy, Yeah. So.
No, I love that. I love how open you are. And, even when you're talking about the loss of your children, you're everything that you do is absolutely just pouring living waters out of you. and here you are talking about death, and it's pure life coming out of you, which is, it's an absolute gift that you have to be able to do that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we talked about every horror, everything that can be horrible, like even what was done to us, to divide us, for that moment, that stint. We didn't stay divided. I sought her out. And we did it right. We did it right. Even though everything was orchestrated perfectly.
There you go. He sought her out. Usually he's the one that lets the woman seek him out.
That you have to be able to do that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we talked about every horror, everything that can be horrible, like even what was done to us, to divide us, for that moment, that stint. We didn't stay divided.
Well, it seems like you're divided now, right? But where did Angela go? Why have these hosts not asked him about this?
Sought her out. And we did it right. We did horror, everything that can be horrible, like even what was done to us, to divide us, for that moment, that stint. We didn't stay divided. I sought her out. And we did it right. We did it right. Even though everything was orchestrated perfectly, we still did it right. But even if the horror of losing your child and children, and if you're told they're murdered, you can still turn that into something that's light, that lifts others. You dedicate your life to their memory.
Yeah.
And you learn, even, I think you know this too, when you're through the horror, there are tactics of isolation, alienation, betrayal, basically a cup of Christ. They throw everything at you like a cup of Christ. It's like,
I have a feeling here that you're doing a complete disservice to your deceased sons, Tom. You're using them as a scapegoat for all this. It's very sad. If it's a coping mechanism, it's one of the longest fucking copes I've ever seen. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had family members pass away 20 years ago that I still think about today. But this guy's not doing it for his two deceased sons. He's doing this for notoriety. He wants to take claim for one of the largest franchises of this century.
like alienation, betrayal, loneliness, horrors, broken, taken. You can still lift. You can still love. You can still hold on to moments. And that's one thing I learned is that even if I have a relationship with somebody, we're good friends, we're close. And even if I know that probably they're going to be approached because they have an important part, a pillar in my life, they're going to be in this system, they approach heavy, like they did my sister, right? If I lose them in their turn, even if they're turned like my daughter was, I still remember the good moments, you know, and I still remember the image that keeps me going. You know, that man with his daughter in his arms, you know, that passed. And that means I'm going to be a warrior forever. I'm going to be a lover forever. I'm going to remember everything good about every person I've known. So I'm a library of good memories and feelings for those that meant something in my life and those that I'm yet to meet.
Yeah. Do you notice, even though they're still continuing to do stuff with and around you, do you notice it's less? Do you feel a knowing that it's over and that it's just kind of dissolving around you? Or do you feel like it's intensifying because it's kind of like at the end there? Like, how are you feeling into this end time?
I've been saying that Tom is living perpetually at the end of Act 2 in his redemption arc, but he'll never let it proceed into the third act. He's always on the precipice of enlightenment, of getting rewarded for his hardships, right? Saying like, we will make the documentary. I fucking showed up at his place and he said, no, we're not going to do it anymore. We're not going to make the documentary anymore. Like, what the So you're right. Frankie D says, ideas coming every day? Right, I'll buy that for $1. Yeah.
Just you, not the world, not Revelations.
Right.
Tom's end time.
Okay, Tom's? Well, it's a great question. It's a great question because I think we were talking about that too. The idea is this. We're dealing with a system that's going to be eradicated. We're dealing with a system that works a playbook that's just unthinkable. It doesn't fit in humanity. Humans do not do this to each other. This is something that powers decided that they wanted to have all the power, and they're going to orchestrate a Machiavelli 40 ways of power with mixing in a twisted art of war. And they think they're going to get away with this. And so what they're doing is tactics that hopefully will never surface again. The unthinkable, right? That's gone on with World War I, World War II to our time. Now it's the worst it's ever been. What you're dealing with is reward systems, reward and threat. Each person's approached differently with rewards and threats. That's Congressman that's been in our life. That's, admitted he's a lifelong FBI agent. That handles my sister. The rewards are unbelievable, and she's promised even more rewards. Now, if you're promised rewards like that, like mentioned on the floor of Congress, then she's not going to stop. In fact, my mom was just talking to me today saying that she's raging all the time. So she's just stuck on, success, image, things like that, and raging. Will we forgive her instantly when she's out of it? Yes. Is my mom praying that she breaks free from this congressman that's rewarding her so much? Yes. And the reverse blame and all the stuff in 302 attempts. So, her job, they're given jobs, handle the family, turn the family. Aiden doesn't see any cousins. They're all cut off because of this agenda for reward. She had bragged that she was gonna have the most expensive range and, this kitchen remodeled and maid service that does her house or mansion, flights to London, Caribbean, San Diego, New York, Florida Congressman mentioned on the floors of National Treasure, basically, as one of the awards after a 302 attempt failed. Jimmy Fallon show, CNN No by Warner Bros., on and on it goes. And all of that is done with a person who's an unlicensed elementary school counselor.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So that's how far they go. And then the parties that are approached will end up hostile. All feelings are gone in the freezer. They will not feel anything again except anger, rage for their own image. And to watch somebody transform like that, where they're like this beautiful person that danced at their wedding with you, in tears, playing a surprise dance with their brother, playing Wind Beneath My Wings, and saying in tears into your ear, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't tears, playing a surprise dance with her brother, playing Wind Beneath My Wings, and saying in tears into your ear, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you, Tom. I wouldn't be alive. That's the close moment, right? And then someone just sent me all these information postings that she had of loving her brother. And then in 2016, it just dropped. That's when this congressman came in the picture. And then you watch this total transformation where it's just anger and, hatred and, being called when your son dies after 2 years of being cut off. And you're hearing on the phone, you just say you're angry, bipolar, and suicidal. I'm like, where's the condolences for the loss of my son? We haven't talked in 2 years. Where's the love? You're there receiving as a human being going like, oh my God, I'm so glad you called. And you're hearing this, you just say you're angry, bipolar, suicidal. Why? It's all part of their playbook. And you're watching this person who used to be so sweet. Suddenly they're doing photo ops where they're just like, they're not even paying attention to any family. They're just going like, this is the camera, and looking at it going, take it again, take it again. And it's not a person anymore. It's all about image and power. So what I'm saying is, this is not how humanity is supposed to be. It's going to change back. We're in an extreme situation right now where a playbook's being played, powers are losing their power, and this hopefully will never surface again where we watch loved ones bought and changed for an agenda of success.
So on a micro level, would you say it's intensified for us, or is it sort of evening out?
I would say for what we're witnessing is it's intensified with the middle players that have been bought, certain family members like my cousin and such, my brother. They've been called in to intensify and bolster the ranks and do more horror. But the general population is becoming free. The general population is becoming sweeter.
Here's a question. Why does none of his family support him in this effort? Except for his mom. And I also wonder how much the lockdowns had to do with all this. Who knows? I mean, it's all speculation for me at this point when we're talking about this stuff. But you'd think it'd be beneficial for him to have his family supporting him in this effort, right? Thankfully, I'm not Tom, but if I were in his shoes, I'd be trying to get them to help this whole thing. If it was legitimate. If the family's distancing themselves from him. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why that could be. But through all of his soliloquies and long tangents, do you think most of them had a moment of clarity where they're just staring at this verbal diarrhea flowing out of this guy's mouth and being like, what the fuck? Right? I don't know what to say about it. Zenray says, because they were all raised to play roles in life, and Tom was supposed to be a stamp collector and broke role. Maybe that's the reason. Yeah, he's talked about it before. We've also looked at Zen. Thank you for bringing that up, because on the other interviews that he did, especially on, I think it was on one of the shows that Zenray was a co-host for. But, I might be wrong on saying that. We did see footage of Tom talking about his childhood and about his siblings all picking on him and all that stuff and throwing his stuff away. But at the same time, Zenray said he also had a similar childhood story, but he couldn't confirm if he told Tom that story before Tom started sharing those childhood memories. So there is an element here of Tom pulling from all these different hosts little bits of story here and there, and he's combining it into writing what he wants the world to believe is his life story, but it's actually a conglomeration of other people's stories. Does that make sense?
More aware, enlightened, kinder. So it's a great question. Thanks for bringing me to that too, both of you. Because what happens is right now we see a better world forming.
Right.
It's just those that are getting rewarded, threat and reward. One contact said, my sister had on tape, she said, she's under threat and reward, Tom, so you want to forgive her later. Well, I will.
Tom, I'm going to speak directly to Tom here because I know he's watching. You have every opportunity to pick up that damn phone and schedule an appearance here to settle this stuff. But I know you won't do it. Because you don't like the hard questions. I'll drill so many questions your way if you show up live on this screen with me that you'll run away before I do. That's what I think.
But it's about, those players are intensified because they're desperate.
Higher level guys have kind of slowed down a little bit.
Yes.
And they're more going with the middle layer.
Yes.
That's
They're making offers.
really a really good sign. And so
It is. Yeah.
you have good news about
See, he has this really people-pleasing character about him. He wants to be liked by everyone. Even with Roseanne, like... Roseanne was sarcastically, and also, like, this is like a reveal the truth within all the lies thing. With Roseanne talks about Satan and how that's the real God and we should all be, like, bowing to Moloch and Baal and all that bullshit. it's real to other people. People actually worship that shit. But when Roseanne was even joking about it, it's like Tom came back at her like, well, I actually never revealed what religion I'm a part of. Like, what the fuck? Talk about someone with no conviction. And I'll tell you about Tom Althouse.
What's going to happen with the screenplay? Is there an offer that you can talk about?
Yeah, Frankie D says he's too chicken shit. Tom, you can be here anytime. All you have to do is pick up the phone. I'm not going to call you. You have to call me and say you want to be on here. You're not going to do it. And Zenray says, show up. So even, like, you got people in the chat, you got former hosts telling you to show your face. Like, come on, man. Jeez.
Can you reveal anything on that end?
Well, I'll tell you, one thing with that is we're getting calls. A lot of we're getting education too. What's really fun is being the author of the piece, right? Like this piece right here. And what happened was we got it all right. Everything's in here, including inventions, like, Neuralink, everything's here.
No, they're not. This bullshit artist says he put a that he put the iPad in this script. It turns out we read that page and it's just a metal clipboard with buttons. And he said that was the prototype iPad. He also claims that he came up with the idea for Windows, that he told his professor about his idea for a Windows computer. And that professor, I guess, went and told Bill Gates, and Bill Gates developed it before Tom. This is real things that Tom has said. Not things that are real, but things that Tom has really said. Zenray says, if there's truth to a story, I would like to learn what it is. Yeah, same here. I'm here seeking truth in film and politics. I haven't been doing the politics thing lately. Like, I'm 9 days away from testing that out again. I'm going to be speaking publicly. I'm going to be sharing information to the public so they're aware of what's going on in my village here. But, as far as truth in film, the truth is, I could say this much. Tom wrote this script, The Immortals, but this script, The Immortals, was not used by the Wachowskis to create The Matrix. Prove me wrong. Don't flash and page through for half a second every fucking page. Like, don't do that. Tom needs to have a proper sit down with some host. Like, he can do it himself. He can make his own YouTube channel. He doesn't do it. He pretends to be technically illiterate, and he's trying to say he came up with the idea for Windows. Do you see how backwards that is? And Frankie D's laughing his ass off in the chat right now.
Including what was predicted, what would happen in our world. Even the fake Oval Office is here. Right here. I don't know if I showed you this, but here's the fake Oval Office. Right there at the bottom. Fake Oval Office.
Yep.
There it is. Everything's in here.
And believe it or not, the halftime show from the
At the bottom. Fake Oval Office.
Yep.
No, you can barely see it.
I don't know if I showed you this, but here's the fake Oval Office. Right there at the bottom. Fake
I'll tell you this much. We're not going to be doing this, like, freeze frame shit. Like, we're not going to be reading this script like this. There's no way to. Winter-green Oval Office. Well, that's not necessarily the White House. It's your fictional location and whatever you're doing here. Zenray says it's his concept he's claiming, right? Yeah. Tom is claiming that he came up with the idea for Windows. And that's something buried in this mountain of interviews that he's done. It's more quantity than quality for him. I know I'm like on episode 19 of Let's Talk About It, but you do understand how many, like there's hundreds of interviews this dude did, probably close to 1,000 at this point. Just think about that. And we're going through just like one interview per show here, and we didn't even start off of this series like that. Frankie D says, "Hey Tom, the lies just ain't adding up." Yeah. And Frankie, I just want to confirm, are you the one that wrote me that awesome comment on one of the reels? Are you friends with my cousin Timmy? Because my cousin watches this stuff. Actually, two of my cousins I know watch this. Michael in Florida. It's cool. So, like, even my cousin Michael was watching this stuff when I was interviewing Tom, and he thought it was fascinating. But as we've all come to learn here, this dude's a career grifter. Like, his GoFundMe page isn't even... Like, well, how long did that stay up? A few months? Maybe 2 months? Awesome. Frankie D says, that's me. Yeah. That comment made my day. It's like why I'm here doing this show today based off of, like... Because, like, I take a few weeks off from this stuff so that I can figure out how I'm going to run this next show here. And, like, we got a good format now, but it's... like, we're not going to cover everything I want to before we read what's in here. Like, the next show, episode 20, that's going to be when we're going through this. We're going to comb through and see what's what. But, like, I know for a fact Tom doesn't want me to do that. But he put all this information out on the internet well before I came along. So, can't really pin this on me. Frankie says, I've known Tim about 5 years or so. Awesome. Yeah, like when Tim started watching everything, he was so into it. He was binging everything. And like that's just the vibe that Tom creates. Like, he's always leaving everyone wanting more because he says so much without saying anything. He has 1,000 words and maybe 5 of them are meaningful that you could take something away from. Like, then that's when he gets into his soliloquies at the end of everything, saying like, "Oh, I have humility. I'll forgive people instantly if they tell me they're sorry." No, he won't. Look at this guy. He's calling me a man baby. He's like, grow up, get a life. Like, not anything with like, hey, I want to clarify this. No, none of that stuff. Dude wrote me off because 5 minutes waiting in the Zoom room. It's like, I don't even know anymore. If it was that fragile, it's like it was going to break eventually, right? And he's the one that made me wait an hour for the original interview I did with him before that even started. So.
Office.
Yep.
There it is.
And
Everything's in here.
And believe it or not, the halftime show from the Super Bowl was right out of the screenplay.
Everything's there.
It was right out of the screenplay.
So what's happening is...
So, and also this is 2021, so this is 5 years ago. They're talking about the Super Bowl halftime shows everything out of his screenplay. So that's actually something I should take note of. Because I try to remember stuff that I want to touch up on the next show and everything, and then I can't find it. Like the Roseanne interview where she's saying she's a Zionist, and Tom says, yeah, I agree with it. It's good. Like, this dude doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's a 2021 Super Bowl halftime show. Tom claims it's based off his script, just like everything else, right? Alright, I'm feeling in my groove here. You know, I actually did not sleep last night, so me starting the show off and seeing the usual BS from YouTube, like, sometimes it's a rocky start in the mornings here, but it's all good. That's why I do evening shows with the deep dives. Zenray, I meant to read your comment, Zenray. Zenray says, sorry, I worded that badly. Is it his script or his concepts that he's claiming they took from him? Both. Yeah, I meant to answer that a little more thoroughly. It's both that he's claiming. He says that he gave the script to Bonaventura and somehow... Now, see, when he says he showed it to him or gave it to him, he shared over a phone call. And then he went in person to meet with him. Now, whether or not he left the script with him, I don't know, but that seems to be what he's implying. Then he's saying somehow the script that Bonaventura got ended up in the hands of Joel Silver and then ultimately the Wachowskis, right? I think that's Tom's current story. But again, who knows?
They've been imitating art. So our whole world right now, they're saying, and they even say to me, they go, Tom, this is your world. You shaped this world. Everybody's loved the screenplay, even lifted in a bastardized version of it. You know, the images somehow translated a message. The story that was lifted translated. And so now we're living in a transformed world where people like ourselves fit. Isn't that cool?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
I love it.
We're inverting the pyramid. So,
He changed the world so that he would fit in. Is that what he's saying?
so through art, we transformed a world where those of us with hearts fit. And in it is a call to gather the remnants all through it. That's why Trinity is called Trinity, because the one character is Remnant, the biblical name. And there's the love interest for Neo in it that he gets up with, and that is why they call her Trinity. But what's happening is...
I bet you anything. No, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to say that. I'll bet you $1,000 that Tom told Angela here that she's his Trinity. Prove to me that he didn't say that to her, and I'll give you $1,000. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anybody's going to prove that this woman was not called Trinity by him. He called me his Morpheus, that I saved him from the brink of death or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
We're living in a world where they're imitating art. They claim they're putting us in their own story, but we're the author of it. So, and I'm the author of it. So I hold the pen. So the world...
But then he also says that, like, while I was interviewing him, that I'm now part of the story. And then he gets on other shows and says that I'm now the Cypher or Bane character. More so, Bane. Like, he called me Bane, but he should have said something about Cypher because of this, but he somehow didn't. So he's like comparing me to Bane, which Bane was written over by Smith, so he's calling me Smith?
What I wanted and envisioned is happening. It'll be a good ending. And I wrote myself as the main character because that's, as a young writer, I was fleshing out what I could make real, genuine, as a character. So then they called him Thomas A. It's kind of exciting, you know?
It's exciting, and that's why I was curious if you could reveal anything about, you know, if you would be going into production or when you'd be going into production.
Yeah.
Or that Tom Anderson is a generic name, just like Agent Smith. John Doe, John Anderson.
And any of those types of things?
Yes, we're getting the documentary going with a great group, and they got hit hard. I mean, everybody that's working with us, it's like this.
Or Tom Anderson. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? John Doe, Tom Anderson, John Smith. So does Angela have that 1,000-yard stare going on here? That the look that Angela has here to me is almost like the, oh my God, I just bet all my chips, I put them all on the table. Please let this pan out. What happened to Angela? She was his manager. What happened? Is she the one that was running the website that got struck? Frankie D says, I bet you're right, Steve. And Zenry said, I'm pretty sure I've heard him clean both as well. What do you mean by that, Zen? I'm sorry, I'm a little lost with what you said there. Zenry also said he might have referred to me as being Neo. I'll look for it in the interviews. Yeah, here's the thing. I started... So, like, we had this 11 o'clock show. And I started at 9 piecing together the intro for today's show. And it's not even halfway done. Like, there's so much more content I want to put into, like, these clips that I'm isolating from his interviews that he's done. But, like, all the things that he's now, like, done where he's just... He siphoned my time and energy. And then just released me from working on anything. Because, like, he claimed that I showed up late. It's... Like, I'm showing him being a hypocrite in my intro. And you know what I'll do for the end of this show? I'll replay the intro for the outro. But, going through all of this material... Like, we're watching this real-time live, right? Imagine me doing this just like, that's all I'd be doing all day if I was doing what I want to do here with this. I wouldn't have time to take care of other things in my life. It's quite the conundrum. Zenray says it meant to read. I believe I've heard him claim both script and concept before as well. Okay, thank you. Yeah, my mind's already, like, on to the next thing, so I apologize. That's gonna happen here. At least you know I'm not AI.
Birthing process where they get hit hard. Their site got struck, right? Their interviews got struck. Their premiere got struck right when they were going to launch it. They were approached by a number of handlers that were in a group that formed to divide us.
If you would be going into production, or when you'd be going into production, or any of those types of things.
Yes, we're getting the documentary going with a great group. And they got hit hard. I mean, everybody that's working with us, it's like this birthing process where they get hit hard.
Here's the thing. Okay, you're gonna have a rant from me here. We're gonna play this one more time.
Going with a great group, and they got hit hard. I mean, everybody that's working with us, it's like...
He says, we were going with a great group, and then we got hit hard. It seems like everybody that wants to work with us...
This birthing process where they get hit hard. Their site got struck, right? Their interviews got struck. Their premiere got struck right when they were going to launch it. They were approached by a number of
If this truly happened, why would he invite me out to Texas from Illinois, have me travel there on my own dime with all of my film equipment, say that he's maybe 20 minutes from Houston, I fly into Houston with all of my equipment, I have to check in extra baggage, because it's film equipment inside suitcases. And then when I show up, he picks me up from the airport, and it's over an hour drive to where he was near Baytown. And then on top of that, the muffler to his son's Mustang is blown, but he's claiming that it's the motor, it's the engine. Like, it's supposed to sound like that. No, it was the muffler. I could barely hear him talk while he was driving. So that went on for an hour. Then I got to his place, brought everything in. We're having a conversation at the table in his kitchen at his island. And then he says that he feels like we shouldn't do the documentary, that he was talking with his mother and she thinks that it should be a book. Like, he passed this idea by her and she approved of it. So now that's what he wants to do. If he had all of this help trying to help him and they were getting throttled at every step of the way, how come when I was able to come through and help, he refused it and changed the goal? I was ready to sit down like he's doing here, side by side, more wide camera angle, with Tom and myself and all of his physical items of evidence. And we were going to sit down and do a whole show like that. He didn't want to get on camera with me that whole time I was there. Explain to me why he did that when 3 years prior he's complaining about, because this happened in 24 when I visited him, 2024 in April. This is in March of 21, and he's saying that everybody that's tried to help him has been throttled. So how come when I came through, he throttled the project himself? Occam's razor says it's because he is lying, he is a grifter, and he is a fraud. That's the only explanation. Documentary on a silver platter, courtesy of Yissilmissil Productions. No. As a filmmaker, he asked me to write a book for him instead, after we agreed to do the documentary that he speaks of all the time. Alright, let's catch up on the chat here. Zenray's sharing a few things. Zenray says, I'm having problems with my voice to text. Sorry for that all. And my phone screen won't allow me to proofread. It's okay. It's okay. I'm glad you're here. Like, I know I have all the support here with everybody that watches, especially people that find... A lot of you are finding this after the fact. And the re-upload. And all the reels. We got over 1,000 views on reels last night. So I don't understand the live stream situation, why it's so low. But this is the format that works for me currently, and it'll adjust as we go on. But it's truly fascinating. It's, what's the word? Confounding. And Tom tries to hammer the audience with all these names and places and jumps from topic to topic. It's very difficult to get a timeline. I did this for 2.5 years interviewing him, and I couldn't even put a proper timeline together with every name and event and it was hard to put a date on all of the court cases. Like, there was no focus from Tom. It's really weird.
That were in a group that formed to divide us and did a really good job at it first. And they got approached a number of times by these guys. One guy's named Royce. So the thing is, like, they really went all out. But these people are survivors, warriors, and they're going forward with the documentary. They're going forward with the interviews. They're going forward with the Q&A with Tom, you know, and I love it. So yeah, so like you said, I'm being offered to teach layered thinking, which I'm very excited about, and in a way that makes it not time consuming for me either, which is great. So I can attend to the other layers I like. Yeah. And then the film, I'm being told it'll be made, absolutely. Donations are coming in now to make it. We've got the documentary and the real life film.
All fucking lies, because here we are 5 years removed from this interview and none of it's come true. He's had multiple people that he's onboarded saying that he's going to have the documentary made, and then it never happens. I was this close from doing that myself, and he refused it. He got cold feet like when reality slapped him in the face. He's like, no, I can't do this. Was that his guilty conscience eating away at him?
In fact, the Hollywood attorneys, top attorneys in Hollywood, are all excited. They say got Gooflesh about the real life film. They're saying it's better than the Matrix story itself is the real life film of what we survived and held in, which I'm excited about, Carmen, because that means other people will be encouraged. I think the other side wants you to think there's a ceiling on what humans can do, and we will cave at a certain point.
All right, related to the Trinity comment I said earlier, and it's just because I thought of this now. Knowing Tom, he probably has called Angela an angel too. And Angela, if you ever come across this, if anybody ever shows you this, you know where to find me. You're more than welcome to come here and share your story, Angela. Tom, you know, he's a narcissist, so he's gonna stay silent until he's dead. At least according to, like, speaking with me. He has yet to prove me wrong, so. Frankie D says he got scared that you'd find out the truth. Yeah. Yeah, like the real reason why he got 302'd. Why he got thrown in the asylum.
We don't have to. We don't have to. There is nothing they can do to stop us. And I mean all of us.
Maybe you'll be the beginning of it not being...
Except himself.
We don't have to. There is nothing they can do to stop us. And I mean all of us.
Except Tom.
Maybe you'll be the beginning of it not being, you know, Hollywood. It'll be Hollywood. Like, literally,
I love it.
Apart. Because I kept thinking Hollywood's going to disappear and it's maybe going to pop up in other places, Atlanta, Austin, Shreveport, wherever that they do a lot of movies. But the more I think about it, the more I think, especially because Jesse's got me thinking in different terms of reclaiming territory and doing the anointing, and to be able to go back to the roots of the...
I'm going to do this now. I am reclaiming this space of the internet. You guys are all more than welcome to come on my show here and talk about all of this. Even you, Carmen. Because I want to know really what happened here. Carmen deleted her interview. I only have this because I was so fascinated with the Tom Althouse story. The story of Tom Althouse. That I downloaded all of these interviews. This is from my own personal collection that I ripped off of the internet. Like, you video rip stuff off. Like, that's what I do. Like, I archive stuff. This is not available as far as I'm concerned. Unless she reposted it. She deleted it. And the Emma Imagination podcast, that's also deleted. With the Tom Althouse interviews. Or she made them private. Which I think that's what the case was originally. She made them all private so nobody could watch them. So what's going on here?
The tension of separating land in this beautiful place called Hollywood and have it be consecrated for God. I mean, it's really exciting when you think about it.
We were just talking about that, about how we'd love to go to Hollywood eventually and get a home there and work from there. And yeah, they're calling it like the new Hollywood. There's one paparazzi guy I love, Rick Leaks. He said, Tom, you got new Hollywood coming. Everybody knows your story. Everybody knows that it was lifted from you. Everybody's basically told not to talk about it. But they can't help it. What we're at Carmen now is these top people are saying to other people we know, yeah, it's common knowledge this guy was taken from. It's common knowledge, that happened, but we're not supposed to talk about it. So they're saying it anyway. They're told not to talk about it, but they're talking about it. See, that's what's so cool. Everybody's doing it. So it's like, it's.
But nobody else is coming on these shows with you, Tom. And nobody else is speaking individually about you other than myself, as far as I'm concerned. So what's really going on here? You have to imagine for a moment here, think of every ending credits scene, like the scroll of all the credits, of all the crew that is ever, and a lot of these people, it's the same people because they're working all these different jobs. But there's also movies shooting simultaneously, and like, just for example, go to look at the end credits for Avengers Endgame. Just watch how many names scroll by on that, and then you come back and tell me that not a single person from there has the balls to stand up and be like, yeah, Tom's telling the truth. I worked in Hollywood. Not a single soul. And I would know. I looked this stuff up. I went back, I could only find back to 2018 of interviews with Tom. So what's going on here? Not a single person in the past at least 8 years has come forward to vouch for Tom's story. Not a single person from Hollywood. Yes, I've worked on so-and-so film, so-and-so film, so-and-so film. I'm not going to show my face. I'll manipulate my voice, but I'll vouch for Tom. None of that's happened, as far as I'm concerned. And I think I have a pretty valid point I'm making with that. There's no way all of those people want to remain anonymous.
It's over. They can't keep the dam from bursting. So that means with layered thinking too, I mean, where does the Matrix story come from, that screenplay I held up? Where does that story come from? We have a copyright on it. From layered thinking. And what is layered thinking? It's making...
He has to constantly remind the audience that he has the copyright on the Immortals. If you noticed last week's show, episode 18, episode 18, we were watching that interview from 2018. I'm sorry to say this, we've been led along. We've been led along this farce. But here I'm trying to put an end to all that. And I know I will succeed. Because, as I heard just the other day, a person like Tom wakes up in the morning and has to choose what mask to wear. Whereas here, you get me raw in the real time. I don't have to look at my collection of masks to see what I'm going to wear today. I'm just here. And that drives people like him crazy. Because he's constantly having to, like, please. He wants to constantly please and be validated. And, like, you could say that, like, oh, well, Steve, you're a hypocrite because, like, you want to have viewers on your show. Well, I'm running a live show here on a 2,000 sub channel. that when you type Tom Althouse into YouTube, my interview with him comes up, the very first interview I did. YouTube suppresses the reach of these lives, but it doesn't suppress the reels. I don't know why. The reels are the best thing that gets the most traction on this channel. But I think I'm more disappointed in YouTube that this can be reaching more people and it's not. And it was reaching more people when I was full on blinded by the deception that Tom is putting on everybody. And now that I'm calling him out, it's not as like the view counts aren't there. Like whatever. This is going to stay up for a long time, and it's going on Odyssey. It's going on Rumble. We're live on Rumble too right now. It's going on BitChute eventually. But we're live on these two platforms below. Like, it's... And I've been making videos for a long time. I've done many different types of videos here on this channel. It's just... It's wild. Frankie D says, Steve, we all wanted to believe him at first. He's a great bullshit artist. Yeah, the story... It would almost be like if somebody were to come out of the woodwork and say, I wrote Star Wars. And say, I wrote Star... Actually, I'm the one that gave J.K. Rowling the idea for Harry Potter. Or not as serious, but I'm the one that came up with the idea for Fast and Furious. I don't know. And the thing with Tom here is he conflates real life things like Bill Finger from Batman getting recognition and everything, but like there was a show that he did on Chantel with the channel Aquarius Rising Africa. He played a voice like a voice recording of him on the phone trying to talk to one of I think like Lenny Coco, the estate of Lenny Coco. And he got validation that yes, like Lenny remembered Tom. Like he remembers that they met. And Tom starts breaking down crying on that audio like, oh yes, like finally, like that's the one piece that he needed, but he never fucking talks about it now. It was like one and done, on to the next adrenaline junkie hit. Someone broke into my house and gifted me all of my scripts back, and it was on my bed. And they broke in while I was away from Texas and Florida. And they did it covertly. Like, he was saying straight up on Roseanne's show that, like, could have been the good guys in Mossad that returned my scripts and put them on my bed inside my house just to let me know that it was them. Like, really, dude? And Roseanne and her son are just eating all this up. I call it the break-in without a break-in. And that knowing Tom, he probably put those scripts on his bed and, like, contrived this whole fantastical tale of a break-in without a break-in. But I also wouldn't put it past Tom that, like, he put the scripts on his bed and forgot about them and went to the conference in Florida about UFOs that have nothing to fucking do with the Matrix. And then come back home and be like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Oh, it's my original scripts. Oh, it must have been the feds. Like, what the... Again, I don't know. Zenray says, I noticed that too. Do you notice how many times he's changed his hair, color, and style? New characters, each of them. Oh yeah, there's actually one. Oh my gosh. If we could take a quick break from this one, we'll get right back into it. We're at 39 minutes on this one. There's another one here where he has like a pencil mustache. Oh man, I wish I just had it right on file here. But yeah, he's changed his appearance so much. I want to say it was on Chantel's show. It's really hard to see. Okay, let me see this with the giant icons and maybe I'll find it faster. Alright, so we're watching the March 2021. We'll get right back to this. 39 minutes. Okay. So we're just going to compare, like, the different looks of Tom here, and then we'll get back to this video. But obviously, you got this one from 2018. This is the most obvious one. Where he has the long hair. So that's 2018. 2021. This is a show we haven't watched yet. But this is 3 years after that long-haired interview. And this is the same month as the show that we're watching now. But he was just on a rip. Then this is like March 9th. And that's Chantel up in the top right. And he said this whole thing, their working relationship ended with her yelling at him over the phone. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe with that. So, like, these are all the different shows that I kept because I was taking Tom's word that everything was getting struck. Here's Tom with his slicked back hair. Then he has, like, a little colic thing going on this one. You know, I just hope his fish are okay. Then he has a Christmas tree. That looks like he stole my suit jacket in that other one. And this is May of 22. Is this the one? June. There he's starting to look more like how we recognize him now. So I guess different fish tanks too. I don't know. Here we got August. November 22. Here it is. Look at this one. I'll put the audio up briefly.
Let's take judgment out of it. It doesn't matter who reads what. It doesn't matter whether I read the Bible, the Quran, the whatever, the Torah, whatever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
Yes, it does matter. But check that mustache out. Like, that's not Tom. You're probably right, Zenray. New characters each time he changes his appearance. Is this like espionage Tom here? See, Frankie D said, first they broke into his house while he's home sleeping and stole his original script and then replaced it with another. Then they break into his house to give it back? Right. And I'm the King of England. And Zenray says, new character does not equal clean slate. Very true.
it's what's happening in here. And when we are not divided by religion and stuff anymore, we are home dry. Because religion has been one of the greatest ways to divide and conquer. That's my opinion, and I'm not going to change it.
No,
So if someone doesn't agree with me, then you're welcome to put it in the comments, and we'll certainly agree.
But those that condemn others want to take us back to the Stone Age. And they want to be right, they want to be important, and they want to have the rewards.
Don't you want to be right, Tom? Don't you want to be important, Tom? Don't you want to reap the rewards, Tom?
And that's exactly what's been dangled for people like my bought-off family. Rewards. Great rewards with threat. And they go for it. They go for it. Well, that means our world will not evolve. But they'll have their most expensive remodeled kitchen.
So that's what I'm
out to meet the architect looking like Christ. So they'll keep the same ending. Everyone's saying blow it up. In mine, he goes in there and fires all these families right away. Now you're supposed to believe, well, he fired the bad ones. They say this. When I ask, why are you doing this? Guess what the answer is? 3 words. Anybody guess? Why are you doing this? Because we can. I choose life. Earn me turning down everything. Always miss her. Because now they've got Elon Musk exactly where they want it. They don't. To be the face of the Christian coalition, to be with Rockefeller's group. They're
gonna pull through it. We've got some great people on this planet. I couldn't agree more, and I think that is...
Because those that sold out can't. They don't feel anymore except anger and desperation for themselves and their imagery and spray on tans and stuff like that.
Does Tom seem like he's displaying desperation for himself and his imagery? Sure seems like it to me. Okay, let's mute it. I'm gonna look at a few more of what's in this folder. This is just wild. So this is November 1st, 2022. And then 7 days later, let's see if he still has a mustache. Yeah, he was growing it. He was growing a weird goatee there. I don't know what that is. Then the 22nd. He still has it. Okay. Let's get back to the one we were watching. We'll finish that up. What did I say? We were at 40 minutes? We'll go back to 39.
Adolescence for a purpose, right? It's not like, oh my God, you go crazy and you feel all these things for a period of time, you get acne, and then you'll get over it, and you'll be normal again. That's not what we should tell our kids. In fact, we should say, oh God, you're so blessed, you're so lucky to go through adolescence, because you're being taught how to be an adult, you know? And we rob ourselves of that training. Adolescence is training us to be dynamic individuals, right? It's turning us from a child into layered thinking and feeling people. And if I look at Angela and express my feelings in layers, wow, who's gonna get bored with that? Back and forth.
Nobody. You can say relationships.
Yeah. Why would you want to say, here's roses and that's it, instead of roses, chocolate, hotel, trip out, you know, and romancing?
And a joke.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, layers, you know, it's like, yeah.
So the big, okay, I get it that everybody has their personal lives, but Tom is doing this all publicly. So I think we are all in a valid place to question what happened to Angela. Oh, it's personal. If it was personal and private, he wouldn't be having her on the screen with him here. This was a serious commitment by both of them. And at the time here, they look happy. Like, good for them. But something happened. What? We may never know. Yeah, Zenray says he's trying to grow a beard and mustache like you, but can't. Yeah, well, part of that was before he met me. Wasn't that... Or no! That was... So I did the first show in... Was it 22? It was 22. I always think it's like 2023 in my head. That's like the whole blending of years together after a certain time. Yeah, that was... So, like, beginning of 22 is when I did my first interview with him. And by November, he was trying to grow a mustache and goatee. All right. That's interesting. And then after I left, he also went on Brenda's Beyond the Box show not too long after I left, and he was starting to grow that pencil mustache again, but without the goatee part. And they all thought that he used a Sharpie. No, this guy likes his little pencil mustaches where he's shaving the whole top part off. I don't mess around with any of this. I trim it. Obviously, I shave my face. I can grow a full beard like down to about here. But yeah, I've had this look for many years now. I don't even remember when I started wearing my facial hair like this. I want to say 2021. I haven't had a clean shaven face in like, I want to say 13 years.
And so it's like, and that's what I teach in acting too, is layered acting. And then people will watch a performance and go, oh my God, it's so real, it's so genuine. I really feel the power of that performance. You get these awards, but people can't put their finger on it. They're like, I just feel so real and dynamic. Well, because you're picking out purposely 4 or 5 different feelings that work along with the script, and you're making them elevate and lower and go up and down according to how you're being given lines, according to your lines, and according to how you're receiving the other co-hosts or co-actors, what they're feeding you, right? Yeah.
That's what I love about that is I've always thought, because I produced a little bit, and I've always thought that the lead characters had some depth, but all of the side ones, I was always like, why don't they just add a little more? Give the actors some meat, like something to play with.
Right.
And so I think that came from me being an actor's mom, you know, because my daughter was acting since she was 7. And so that viewpoint changed the way I produced, because I didn't want the side characters to not have depth.
You see, we just hit the 2-hour mark for this show. And what we're watching is at 1.5x speed. And we're 41 minutes in out of an hour and 23. But this is because I'm pausing a lot to talk. But you understand how, like, detail-oriented this is? It's over, like, it's almost like the overwhelming of information is the goal of Tom to keep people confused and wanting more. An answer that they'll never properly get from Tom, but are led along just enough to want to watch the next show. And I don't like that. I wanted him to be spilling the beans by the second or third show, and when that didn't happen, I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to have to work at his pace. But even that didn't work out that well, did it? It's like you baby these people and they still fuck you over, right? I don't know. With Tom having his condition, and then he admitted to being on the spectrum for autism, but he's also like, one day he's a Jew, the other day he's not a Jew. Like, so I don't know what he's talking about. But like, I had to be figuratively walking on eggshells after a certain point, just so I wouldn't trigger him, right? And in some way, he manipulated that the way that the shows went. I probably shouldn't have let that happen, but that's hindsight for you.
You know,
Right.
And I love diversity, and it's so fun to see all the different ages and all the different types of people and how they interact with each other and that beautiful tapestry. And I think that your gift is that you're able.
Is she some woke chick? I think we're all aware that diversity's not our friend.
Able to somehow thread to the spirit.
Diversity was a term designed by those that seek to destroy us.
Rather than threading to the form, which I think most people thread to the form.
That's like Amadeus. It's all right. That whole thing of Amadeus, where you just feel all the layers at once, and you're able to orchestrate them rather than cutting and pasting one thing at a time. Exactly. Yeah. I taught Montessori and Waldorf and things like that. I'm going to teach Montessori Shakespeare, right? And I love working with adolescents. 8th grade, 7th grade. Oh my God. When you work with adolescents, they're feeling all these things. And so you teach them layered thinking, layered acting. And next thing you know, you got these kids coming to you. They're becoming adults. Some are in tears. Some are confessing everything about their life. Some are saying, you know, oh my God, I don't know what, it's too much. And they're coming back and I can do this. And I had one boy who was playing like bottom in Midsummer Dream, and he was not going to go on stage. I said, it's all right. You don't have to. And there's an audience out there. I said, you don't have to. You've already done everything you need to do. You faced your fears. You've already proven to me you've already done it. If you want to go out on stage and do it, great, go ahead. But you don't have to, because you already proved it to me. I'm happy. You don't have to. I can jump on and take the part. He went out and did it. And then these kids will come back later and say, you changed my life.
Oh, yeah.
Now, yeah, and one was the best. I'm not going to disclose names, of course, but one boy.
You know, it's really sad, but I can see him being a good theater director in that sense. But the fact that he's like he likes to manipulate the most malleable minds. He just admitted here he enjoys speaking with 7th and 8th graders. And it's really because their minds are so malleable, they'll believe what Tom's telling them. Because he speaks with so much, like, he believes in the bullshit.
They actually contacted me later and said, Tom, I was suicidal. And what you did is you saved my life.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and now his work is working with kids around the world, encouraging them to look for hope through layers.
Yeah.
So it's like, God, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, meanwhile, the other side says you're evil, you're bad. Well, through our actions, judges, through our actions.
That's true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Might want
The evil side's calling Tom evil and bad. Now, keep in mind, he has put me in that category now. Frankie D says he'd be great as a politician. And Zenray said, I told you, false white light.
my best friend, her name is Catherine Sullivan. She's one of the top film acting coaches for youth in the country and beyond. And one of the things I've learned from her is that a lot of what she does, it's almost like...
I have to go back. This is also why this takes forever.
And how they interact with each other and that beautiful tapestry. And I think that your gift is that you're able to somehow thread to the spirit rather than threading
I see what you're saying there. She did that whole spirit thing.
to the form, which I think most people thread to the form.
That's like Amadeus. It's all right. That whole thing of Amadeus, where you just feel all the layers at once, and you're able to orchestrate them rather than cutting and pasting one thing at a time. Exactly.
Yeah.
I taught Montessori and Waldorf and things like that. I'm going to teach Montessori Shakespeare, right? And I love working with adolescents. 8th grade, 7th grade. Oh my God. When you work with adolescents, they're feeling all these things. And so you teach them layered thinking, layered acting. And next thing you know, you got these kids coming to you. They're becoming adults. Some are in tears. Some are confessing everything about their life. Some are saying, you know, oh my God, I don't what it's too much. And they're coming back and I can do this. And I had one boy who was playing.
The children were validating his delusions of grandeur. And that contributed to the person we're seeing here now.
like Bottom in Midsummer Dream, and he was not going to go on stage. I said, it's all right. You don't have to. And there's an audience out there. I said, you don't have to. You've already done everything you need to do. You faced your fears. You've already proven to me you've already done it. If you want to go out on stage and do it, great, go ahead. But you don't have to because you already proved it to me.
Now, I'll tell you this much, too. Because I took theater in high school. I had a theater director. She was a woman, but she was very authoritative. Didn't take bullshit. If you missed rehearsal, like, that was nearly a death sentence. I feel I got punished by getting an entire third act of just monologue after monologue after monologue. But who knows? I just know personally in high school, I didn't say on like opening night or any of the live shows, I can't go out there, I can't do this. It was just known, like, you have to go out there. For all your other cast and crewmates, like, you have to play your role when you're doing a stage production. If I decided to just not go out there, there's a whole third act that wouldn't make any sense. And I doubt that the theater director knew all my lines and could go out there and do it. And that's just because of it being modern plays. I don't know. While it is, like, relieving that he would be telling these children actors that it's okay, they don't have to go out there and do it, like, that's not something a theater director should do, especially on a live night. Like, I don't know. It's almost like you're giving them too much slack to fail. I don't know, that had me thinking for a bit.
You don't have to. I can jump on and take the part. He went out and did it. And then these kids will come back later and say, you changed my life.
Oh, yeah.
Now, yeah, and one was the best. I'm not going to disclose names, of course, but one boy actually contacted me later and said, Tom, I was suicidal. And what you did is you saved my life.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and now his work is working with kids around the world, encouraging them to look for hope through layers.
Yeah.
So it's like, God, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, meanwhile, the other side says you're evil, you're bad. Well, through our actions, judges, through our actions.
That's true. Absolutely. One of my best friends, her name is Catherine Sullivan. She's one of the top film acting coaches for youth in the country and beyond. And one of the things I've learned from her is that a lot of what she does, it's almost like they're working on these psychological and mental and emotional and all these different layers as kids. And she has lost some children to overdoses or different suicides, but then she's also, same as you, saved lives. You know, people come to her and they're like, I don't know what I would have done without you, you know?
Right.
I didn't know that you used to teach acting.
Shakespeare. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was for live theater.
Live theater, right? It was really wild because we would do a show, and then the parents were like, "Oh my God!" Like watching their kids just going like crazy on it, and saying, "Will you please coach my children further?" And you know, it's like afterwards, I would say, "Okay, how many of you never acted before?" And all these hands went up, and the audience just goes, "Oh!" You know, it's like, "Oh my gosh!" Because it was stellar. They did great. I'll teach them sword fighting, stage combat, everything. We do knockout, drag out. But one of the things that's most essential as a pillar in performance for children is some people say, you know, acting is lying. No, acting is being genuine.
Yeah.
Yourself. And the most important thing is confidence. When you have confidence, that's what you're going to build. That's a pillar you need to build.
When an actor takes on a role, the ideal situation is they do it the way Daniel Day-Lewis does it, where they just become the character. In a way, you know what? No, I'm not going to validate Tom here. When you're acting, you're putting on a mask, you're playing a role. You're told to become that character, but like, I never did that. I always had myself in the characters I played. I was drawing off of other things, but I didn't disassociate and become a different person. But you are lying when you're acting because you're portraying somebody that you're not. But you have to have it convincing for the audience to believe that that character's going through things. Man, I could do a whole show talking about that, too.
Confidence leads to great acting. It's not like a lot of psych people go in the psych field, I've learned, to take care of problems they have or to cover over problems they have. A lot of psych people get in the psych field to cover over the problems they already have, right? Self-medicate. But it's not like that. A lot of actors get into acting because they feel insecure and they want to be liked. That's not the reason to go into, really. Go into it as a service. Go into it to lift others. Go into it to celebrate humanity and to bring something to humanity. Do it as a service and have confidence. Develop that confidence. Yeah. That's why I stepped on stage. I stepped on stage because I was scared to death of it. I said, I'm not gonna have that. So I'm gonna step on stage, and I'm gonna conquer that and help others conquer it.
That's like my daughter. She likes to try things that are difficult, so she's doing.
Spoiler. That feeling never goes away. You may think you can conquer that feeling of stage fright, but your heart rate, all of that, your adrenaline kicks. It's really the adrenaline. The adrenaline's always going to be there, whether it's like minimal or at the height, like when you first start out. But it's always going to be there.
This stand-up thing now. She's 24 years old, and I think she's so brave. I don't know how somebody does that. And so, what about projects together? What are you guys going to do? For sure, it's already slated.
We talked about working with school districts. That's really fun to do. I'm a certified teacher, so and I have a background in special education and English language learners and just general elementary, autism. So I've been through hundreds of hours of training and experience. So we, all that background knowledge combined with his, theater expertise. Imagine what we could do with that.
Plus, we have shows in the can, basically what we say. I've got shows that toured throughout the state of Maui, or Hawaii, state of Hawaii, and they got rave reviews, critics, things like that. So what I did was when they, like, you turn it into gold, good stuff. So when they cut off my jobs, everything, and took me out of my management positions and theater, what I did was I created my own company and started doing shows that I wanted to be Broadway quality for kids. Because the other company I was working for at the time, when they got approached by Warner Brothers and those guys, they said, like, well, kids will accept anything. Doesn't matter, just put anything. They'll just laugh at anything. I said, no, they don't. You got to give them the best. Why not? They're right at the right point to form great synapses and connections and thought processes and learn. So why not give them the best? Give them the best. Give them lobster and steak. Don't give them, like, passed over French fries. So the thing is, like, so I created these things and it took off. Made them angry, but it took off where people were like, oh my God, these are great. So we have these like shows like Farlington Rabbit, Crossroads, It's Not Fair. All these different plays that I have that are musicals.
Okay.
And I have this guy on Maui who's a great composer, and his wife just contacted me recently and said, hey, we still love you. Oh my God, we love you so much. We want to keep doing this. So the goal is eventually sometime go back to Maui, and even Italy, want to, and do theater. I want to have a theater called The Underground. I love touring in London one time when I did a comedy show and toured through London, and they had Underground. So I thought, how cool would it be to be on Maui, Hawaii, the Garden Isle, and have a lava tube or something, go underground with your theater, you go down through the steps, and there's water dripping off the cave walls, basically, effects, and you do this theater underground with all the energy of the volcano and everything, and then you come back up, and there's all these residences up top, like little cool residences, for artists around the world that are too poor or unable to provide for themselves, provide for them. All they gotta do is create art. We don't have to consume it. We can just let them create. As long as they're creating, you stay.
He's 66 years old as of today. Like, it's not his birthday today, but like right now he's 66 years old. Do you think he's gonna go back to Maui to produce musicals or even Italy when he's still caught up doing all of this? Unless he's figured out immortality and this dude's like 400 years old and he's a vampire.
and
create residences for these people and lift everybody. Give them a chance.
Yeah.
Give them a chance.
There's a lot of artists that don't have that marketing ability. They're just brilliant and amazing artists, but they would never know how to get their beautiful work out to the world to be able to see it. And so that's a very cool thing for you guys to be doing.
Well, we need each other. Yeah, we need each other.
Can you give me one more example? Like, you gave me that acting example for layered thinking. Can you give me one more example of how you would teach layered thinking to a kid?
Oh,
that's why Angela's not there anymore. Tom showed up needy.
Absolutely. What I would do is there's some mental exercises I'd like to do too, which I just happened into this as a child. It was out of necessity for me, and mine was the fire. I mean, like I talked about the scars in the face, things like that. So I had to find a world within myself where I wouldn't get beaten all the time, right? So I had to be able to use my mind as my playground, right? And so I learned lucid dreaming. I learned how to do mental exercises such as tumbling. And I would actually physically feel like I'm tumbling when I'm just sitting here like this. And it actually feels like I can do it right now. I feel like I'm doing somersaults right now. I physically feel like I'm doing somersaults. I can do it where I hear music And it's you can kickstart it too. I know ways you can kickstart it. You can do like a classical piece, if you would, something you're familiar with, put it in a distant room and turn it on low. You can just barely hear it, and then your mind recreate it. And that's another, like a training wheels on a bike. And you learn to do a layered process where you're hearing the whole orchestra at the same time and able to manipulate certain parts of it at the same time. It becomes audible to you. And I believe that's how Mozart created that flow and thought. And this LA critic actually had said, Tom is like Mozart, Herr Mozart, and Shakespeare, and like juggling firebrands. He got it, the layered, and asking for more. Absolutely. And then you wrap it up brilliantly. That's what Carmen has got me about this piece right here is this has a brilliant ending. Oh my God. And the way they lifted it, the Wachowskis actually kept the same ending, but they stripped the whole relationship out, right? All the relationships. And so it didn't make any sense. It's like, it doesn't have a great ending. It's voted one of the worst 11 sequels of all time. Put it back the way it is. Audiences have that all moment where they go, oh, now I know why the little girls point at the sun. Now I know why there's identical figures. Now I know why the whole thing explodes out from it.
Where did he get this one of the worst 11 sequels of all time thing? Is that another article he read and is like, oh yeah, I'll use that? Because he doesn't reference where he got that number from.
So it's going to be nice to see it done the way it's supposed to be. But what I like is, like you were talking about with your daughter, character-driven work. It has not been something the industry latched onto before. They thought that was like something no one's going to like it. Character-driven work is the way to go. I mean, like you said, each character has full journeys, arcs, as we say, right? Full layers to them. Then it's fun because you may forget about a character, and they're catching on now in Hollywood on this, and the new Hollywood, where it's knocking the door and you hear this little sound, this little gibberish, and you're like, oh my God, there's a character again. Oh my God, there he is. And you're excited to see each character enter in. Right on Radio is going to do the premiere of The Domestics, my period piece, and they're all excited to do it. Jeff's going to do it. And that is a character-driven work that's actually green lighted for Off-Broadway. And each character is fleshed out completely, and we've got people even on Maui and New York saying, that's my character. I don't know else doing it. It's like so cool because each one becomes exciting. Each one becomes a life, a life worth living, which is one of the phrases in the piece itself.
So you really are the art whisperer.
A life that he's aborted them all from, right? Where has he talked about these stage productions on these other shows? Because, I'm having a difficult time finding that. You'd think he'd be proud of that work and be bragging about that, too. More so than he is here. And he talks about these they're seeds in a garden. And what do we know about Tom? He cannot garden. He let his garden die. Literally.
Thank you. That's a compliment. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah.
Angela, I didn't hear what you said.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's such a really, it's like you can take the ethereal and turn it into form. And then you can take form and you can put it into the ethereal, you can rework it and bring it back down again.
That's wild. That's so cool you said that because it does. It feels like there's a funnel in my head. That comes through all the time. Yeah.
It's completely in tune with the heartbeat rhythm of theater and acting and writing.
I see all three of these people as very disingenuous. Angela seems like she's caught in the middle of this stuff, but she also went in head first on this, so who knows?
Amazing.
It's fun. It's fun to have somebody to share it with too, and with you too. It's fun. So it's not being isolated anymore.
It's so much more fun to have somebody to share the journey with. There's that witnessing to allow somebody to feel that joy with you. It's so much. It just amplifies it. And
that's the thing. When they isolate, when I say they, I'm talking about the other side, the real power, the ones that say now that we have the power. It's amazing to have this on tape where the contact from Disney is actually saying you have the power now. They're afraid of your power. The ones that are the bosses are.
Where's that tape?
They're saying they're afraid of your power now. You won the chess game. Wow. Interviews like you're doing right now is what causes that. That's why they're striking so many. But the thing, what they did the most damaging too, they took my sons and they took my daughter and reprogrammed. I'm so glad you got leanings on my daughter too.
He makes this sound so pertinent. Like he needs to just have a mountain of interviews just so that some will survive. And this is a matter of time. He needs to get this stuff out there. But all the stuff he's talking about, we haven't seen this stuff. This video he claims he has, why hasn't he shown it anywhere? On the places he does show it, why doesn't he have clips of it saved for himself to reshare over and over again? Zenry asks, Steve, what sequel was he talking about? I think he was talking about Matrix Revolutions. Because that's the one with the ending with Sati looking at the sun and at the building skyline. With the Oracle and Seraph and the architect. And yeah, that ending was kind of like, what the fuck? I don't know what happened. Kind of a weird ending. But with Tom's own speculation, he can connect it to his life any way he chooses to, right? And he doesn't have to show it word for word, right? Everyone just takes his word on it.
Hit me hard in a good way.
Yeah, it was cool. I was excited, and I thought it was strange that God went from your daughter to your sister.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Look, that's two pillars they ripped out of my life. Why is there a little girl? Yeah, why is there a little girl at the end in this script? And the Matrix and the last scenes in this. Why is there a little girl pointing at the sun?
I wonder if his daughter is in contact with his sister. So many questions here.
Why is the little girl pointing at the sun?
Oh yeah, we read this on the last show.
At the end, in Matrix and this, which precedes the Matrix, right? Because it's a daddy trying to get his daughter back after she was brainwashed away by the religious right in Hollywood. And now she hates me. But did I ever do anything to her? No. Always loved her. And the last thing I heard from her as a 5-year-old was, Daddy, if they take me away, if the judges say no, you keep trying. You keep trying. So I tried to fulfill that vow. And then when she grew up, she was so full of hate for me because of what they programmed in her. So
Well, that said, she is his, so.
no, I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. So that hit strong. But what the hardest thing was when they isolate you and cut you off, and that's what these people do. We call them anonymous. They're supposed to contact anybody as a friend. Like you would get contacted, Angela would get contacted. You know, anybody would get contacted that's a pillar in my life, right? Which you guys are now. And told not to associate. He's evil. He's bad. We got the things from Sophia Stewart. All these things are floating around that people are sending me. It's still a job. Still a job. But what hurts is you feel like a gift in a box. If you are a servant to humanity and for God, if you are wanting to serve and you're getting all these ideas like a funnel just coming through you, better than the Matrix. That was my opening piece. That's what hurts the most. It's like you feel like you're a Santa with all these presents and you're not allowed to give them. That's what hurts.
It does. It's like Hollywood doesn't know what they're missing.
Yeah,
Or do they know? I mean, why would you want to hold this back?
That's what kills me. How many films have we not had? And I'm sitting on these and I said, I will not release them if any harm comes to any more loved ones. You guys are included. You know, I will not release them. And Hollywood, that's what caused Hollywood to go, uh-oh, really? Yeah. And that's on tape too.
Because they thought they'd get that from you. And if
Yeah.
you multiply 1.2 by 12 or 14, you've got $17 billion sitting on the table for them somewhere out there if they do any more of your films.
That's why they're grabbing up
If
the
that's
scraps.
successful, I would assume, because to me, like, I buy different types of, jewelry or whatever, and there's a signature move that a lot of times that somebody has. And when you work at a level like you do, where this is not just a movie, it was a blockbuster, huge worldwide movie. And when you have the ability to do that, you absolutely have the ability to do it again.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here going, can you tell us a little bit about one of them?
Oh, one of the 14?
Yeah, like, can you give us like a summary or a synopsis or anything of once?
Zenray says, only Entertainment Weekly ranked it as the top 25 worst. No one at 11. And there's one online film ranking site that placed it on the top 100 worst. Yeah, I'm not surprised you can't find what he's referring to. 'Cause Zenry says maybe it was something he got from a Facebook post. And I'm not sure if I read Frankie D's comment. He said he'd be great as a politician. And yeah, I agree with that too. You got to remember here, I'm running on very minimal sleep here. So I'll make sure for episode 20 I'll be well rested, because we have to get through 120 something pages, right? That's going to take a while.
I could. No, it's for you? Yeah, for you. Let's see. All right, why don't I just let one out of the bag? I got 14. What do you think? It's up to me. I know.
Yeah, don't
well, let me say, no, I want to honor that. It's just they're so greedy for it out there. They're so greedy. They're like, they pester me like, you're not. You're being a sweetheart. But they will pester me.
It would be heartbreaking to see a movie premiere.
Well, that's why they're,
and that's the theme of the movie.
They're now going after John Wick with Keanu Reeves' Wick. I was just informed now that Joel Silver and the Wachowskis are after that right now because they're grabbing up the scraps of the thefts. So now they're just doing that. It's like they really want what we got. But let me see what I can do. Hold on. Let me think this through. Hold on. All right, I'll give you one that's still of the 14 that's not
quite cooked up.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to predict that he's going to mention the Dream movie. Because he always plays it safe. He's not giving anything new here. But let's see what he says.
Not a favorite of mine. I don't mind if that baby gets adopted. In a
Okay.
sense. All right. Okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's about a surgeon who in the future we have a time where basically the U.S. has been run over, and there's a no man's zone basically, right? And what happens is this world order is basically children are property in this new world order, and they are belong to the state as soon as they're born. And if you are undesirable or handicapped in any way, you are terminated. And so we find out that there's this place that's unknown out in the desert forbidden zones. And this man has saved, he's a doctor, he used his position to save, kids still moved, countless children and set them up underground and in a good way we cared for them. And they became this whole society, a whole new hope for our world basically, where handicapped and autistic and challenged. And what you end up with in this film is the idea that there's a better world coming because of these children that were considered less than perfect.
Right.
That's where humanity is going to thrive and succeed and get to its next level by the children that our society would not have taken.
Yes.
And so that's a nutshell of it. But a lot happens within that film.
Beautiful.
And but that's one of the few that's not cooked thoroughly through, but it gives you an idea. I'm glad to share it with you. I'm honored to.
It's so cool. And
Well, I'm kind of surprised that he didn't fall back on the dream movie script that he talks about so much.
so it sounds like it has a little, like, did you write that one since you've known Angela because of the autistic children and stuff? But she
It was actually pre-meeting Angela.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys were on the same wavelength ahead of time anyway.
Right.
Which doesn't surprise me. God is so accurate when it comes to layering in all of the different geometries of people's lives, which is so exciting.
Well, it's very interesting because choice. What is choice? I love what you're saying. In here, one of the big things on the screen. Oh, hold on. But the screen.
You'd think Carmen would ask Angela, how did you tell me the story of how you met Tom and how you got to here today? But she doesn't ask that. Unless she does in the next 24 minutes, but I doubt it.
You've seen me flash up and down. In it, one of the main things the architect they carry over the Matrix is about human choice, right? Power of choice. And one of the things, like you said earlier, about these women that have come to me, Honey Pot Women, women like that, presented, to be the casting, who's your wife's going to be, who you're going to stand next to. Well, I don't want the Hollywood version of my wife. And so when I came to Angela as my manager and stuff, I saw something in her. Of course, I told my brother, who's an attorney, so I said, well, I think I found somebody. And that's good, right? And she was somebody I chose to be with. And when they did that horror of us to divide us, and we're being, thrown like out in the winter with my son with no place to go, and I'm coming back saying, I forgive you. It's like we were both played, and she said we were both played, right? And I was like, I choose this. I've had contacts talking to me that are offering deals, even saying there's a place that you can go to. We'll even give you the curtains if you like. You have the boathouse, everything. If you just write, don't do the Immortals, but we'll write where you're helping in the house, you'll be set up financially and safe for your family. But then they asked me, are you sure about Angela? And now what I'm getting now from contacts is, yeah, Angela's good. She's good with you. Isn't that cool? But what happened? Tom A, Neo, chose. I chose, right? And gave her a choice too. So it's I don't want a robot. I don't want Total Recall. So yeah. And so what's happening is the powers on the other side are accepting that now. That's new. We're training the other side. We're training the Hollywood powers to say, look, compassion is stronger than greed and image and power. Because they say on the tapes it's all about power. So we can show through our relationships even, we have control of our own lives. We're going to say what we want. We're not going to buy into the system. We're going to decide our lives and our family's lives. And family is sacred. And what we create is sacred. And for who we create is sacred. So we're not going to let others have control of that. Never. We are all our own entities. We are all our own dwellings and homes and havens. And we can be havens for others. So they don't get that. They don't get to have it. They don't get it from our creativity.
I agree 100%. And one of the things that I love about the way I envision the future, because I feel like I see it so clearly, is that people truly are sovereign, and that there's each person's leading themselves, and they're collaborating with certain people at certain times. And it's not about this, like you said, pyramid. It's just this widespread, beautiful tapestry of people that all get to walk in at different places. But in particular with God, because what I've realized through my horrible, no man's land time, was that if I could get into a space where I remembered who God was, I didn't worry about times before or times ahead. I could simply enjoy, oh my gosh, I get to be, on Zoom today with Tom and Angela, and I just get to relish in it and enjoy it. And then that increases my vibration and my happiness, which puts me in higher and higher frequencies, which bring better and better things. And I'm in awe at how truly simple it is, because if you would listen to everyone else, they would say hard work reaps reward, no pain, no gain. Sometimes you got to step on people to get where you want to go. And that is all dissolving. And I love it.
Yeah. When you're a writer, if you're a good writer, you do not let others influence your writing. It is your story. And for our lives, same thing. Don't let others influence your story. That is your story. You're the star in your story with beautiful people in your story that you cast to be with you. So make it a beautiful story. Don't let someone take your story away and change it because they have issues that they want your story to go a different way, or they're threatened by your story. So be sovereign in your story. And if you have a heart of servitude, then it's going to be a great story. And we want that story to come to full fruition. And we look forward to turning the pages and seeing your life unfold.
Yeah, no, and that's true. And actually, everywhere you look, there's an amazing story. You know, people are always like, where do you want to go next? And I actually like meeting people, because to me, the treasures are in the soul of a person, you know? And I think that's where you go with all your different characters. And it's just awesome. And to be able to teach children how to do this, what you call layer thinking, it's just awesome. And so where are you going to be doing that?
Well, there's a couple different offers going on right now. Like Right On Radio is doing a school. We've got these wonderful people in Hollywood that are definitely give us a very lucrative idea or setup. They're helping us do this whole thing too. So there's a lot of movement to do this. And that's getting very exciting too. I was telling Angela, one thing about layered thinking.
2021. It's been 5 years since this interview. Has he talked about any of these plans panning out?
Which may be surprising, I'm going to throw to you, is the ability to forget and relive. People are saying, you know, well, if I lived immortal, if I lived forever, I'd get bored. Well, you won't. What if you could relive every moment again? What if you could relive a moment with loved ones again? You'd never get bored, would you? It's like a library of memories you can keep reliving. And so I'll watch programming with Angela, and she's heard me say this. First, she didn't believe me. I know she didn't believe me. She didn't believe me, so I was full of it. But I was saying, like, I can forget a film so I can enjoy it again with a loved one. And I will enjoy it again. And she goes, you seriously don't remember what's coming? No. I've written my mind to forget it so I can enjoy it as a first time. How would it be to fall in love with the one you love over and over again? Like first dates. But you can actually do it. Yeah, you can actually do it. So I train myself to actually, as in the writing process, it's really golden too, to forget certain things in order to recreate the experience and get it fresh and look at a different angle and experience it new. Now, some parents go,
That sounds really weird. What are all you getting out of this? He's trained himself to be forgetful, to forget what happens in movies that he's already watched? It seems like Angela here was even calling the BS out.
like, oh my God, the guy's gonna teach my kids to forget things? No, it's about, layered thinking goes with the idea that you actually make space for rediscovering.
Yes.
One of the ideas I had in the past, it's not one of my 14, was that people live a life. It's almost like they did something with What Dreams May Come, but it's like you live your life and you get to experience it again. People make a challenge of, okay, we were so close in life, we did it so well, let's do it again, and rediscover ourselves with no crutches, no hints. Will we do it? And of course, that's a dangerous thing. But then they came out with that one film too. But I thought it'd be really cool to see what happens in a group that does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the term compartmentalizing?
Yes.
I think that would be something people could probably relate to for layered thinking. That's what I think of as compartmentalizing. You've got these different compartments in your brain where you're that would be different layers.
And your mind is enlarged by the fact that you can move them around and interplay them. Just like I said about the different feelings in the acting. They're all there at the same time. They're all present at the same time. You're cognizant at the same time, and then you fluctuate them at the same time as you make them make sense through the performance. And it is blow away. It's like you can read the phone book and sound exciting.
Yeah, you got to set certain things aside so that you can focus on other things.
Yeah.
And
The
think
good
about
news is if you get kids that do that, then you don't have them going, I'm bored.
You never get bored. That's right. You never get bored.
And
You
I
never
think,
get bored.
I think that's one of the ways of seeing, like people always ask me, what's the number one thing you look for in somebody? And I'm like, somebody who really is sovereign and they can make themselves happy. They don't have to have somebody else making them happy,
You just hit something so important. Yeah, go ahead, finish it. I'll tell you.
That was it. I mean, I think the number one thing that I want is I don't want them to be conditionally happy with me. I want
Right,
them to-
exactly. Well, that's the thing too. Look at all that's happened to me. I'm not saying for pity or tears. I'm just saying for the example. All the things that happened to me, we talked about that. Sons died, daughter turned hateful, whatever, and despised me. All these things, intellectual property that's worth $1 billion to take it. But even though all these things happened to me, I think it can be encouraging to others that I can be happy, that I can be ecstatic about life. Now, the other side will accuse and say, like, he has no feelings. Well, sure, I have feelings. I think it's evident. As soon as you say my sons, I get welled up. But the thing is that I want to give hope to people.
No, he doesn't. It's like he's talking about himself in the third person. Like if you've ever watched wrestling, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock says, like that's what he's kind of doing here. Like he has pre-scripted responses. Oh, there's people that tell me that I don't know what I'm doing and I just need to tune them out because, when there's people out there that say that I have no emotion when I talk about my dead children, but they have to keep in mind I'm trying to portray a positive image here. Like, excuse me? It's like the story around the passing of his 2 sons is so fabricated that he's removed from the emotional effects of it. Dude, I pulled up an old messenger of one of my friends that passed away, and he had a few songs that he sent me in the weeks before he passed, and all I did was open one of those YouTube links with the song, and it got me tearing up, and I had to turn it off. There's nothing like that really happening here with him. No recall of specific moments. This goes back to, like, saying that he was estranged from his 2 sons at the times of their deaths. So it's like he found out about him. I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating here at this point, and it's my opinion, so let's get back to finishing
That
this.
no matter what happens, we can lift each other, we can be happy, and we can lift those that we've lost. Even those that are turned on us, we can still celebrate the moments we had. And that lays the groundwork for the return if they ever choose to. When they return, we instantly forgive.
He doesn't celebrate anything I've done for him. You know that? He got my name wrong a few times when he was trying to give me a shout out on a show or two. But, like, he even got his web designer, like, he forgot her name on a show. And this is after he cut ties with me.
Because we only remembered what was good. And we only lifted them in the process.
It's the opposite of what people do who are narcissistic or injured. They remember all of the bad things you do.
Right.
And so how come that's acceptable, but it's not acceptable to you? And it isn't cold. To me, it's not cold.
No.
I a lot of times have to, when I share something with somebody, say, I'm not being cold I'm detaching in a healthy way rather than in a cold way. Like, of course, I see that this could be harmful, but I also see it does not serve this person to continue on and holding on to this when they could be holding on to something else. You know?
Absolutely. You know, it's like, I want to teach couples relationship skills. Not that I have it down, that's for sure. I don't. You know, I mean, even Angela, you know, I'll say to her all the time,
He's a jokester too, for sure. He has the jokes.
She said one time she was so sick of it, I understand. Well, I'd say, okay, I just want to be known for my heart. And I'll say it a lot. You may recognize that language. You know, just my heart. If I'm known for my heart, love my heart, then I'm good. That's all I need. Simple. And sometimes that phrase can get lost in translation. But the thing is, like, you know, that's what it comes down to. Just see who I am and know that I'm a simple person when it comes to that. That I want us all to succeed, family to succeed, be lifted and happy.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I do hope that you guys end up in Hollywood because you guys are the type of, that's the template that they need. They absolutely need that template. And let me tell you, there's a lot of actors out there that don't like the game. There's a lot of conservative actors that they don't want to play the game. They don't want to hide who they are so that they can get a part. It's very wrong.
It is. And you're set up at parties. I was warned by these 7 in California that came in to play me. And they were even saying, yeah, this part's easy for you, Tom. Going through all this horror and stuff is easy. Wait till you're successful in this. Wait till you're sought after and being successful. And then you'll be set up at parties where they're going to come to you and then you have a whole new world you got to deal with, where there'll be planned temptation sent your way. But I would respond, I'm not tempted by that stuff at all. And Angela knows me, I'm not tempted by that at all. So.
Well, I don't think that you guys would be at all because I think you've gone through that no man's land. But I'm so glad you said that.
But he accepted the set-up relationship that he got from Pat Robertson. And then he accepted Becca. He married twice. Divorced twice. Now he's with this chick. In 2021 at the time of this interview. Not with her by 2024. Even 2022. So by 2022, a year from this interview, Angela's out of the picture.
I would love for you to give advice to anybody who is on a journey on how to discern the type of spirit that you came up against, that you entangled with, that was so dangerous. How can they protect themselves from even getting in the same space as these people?
Well, I would say it's going to sound a little odd, but this is my gut reaction. And Angela, if you want to put in too. I've often said sometimes to get rid of the game, you have to play the game in order to win the game, to throw out the game. And so it's like sometimes when contacts come my way or someone sent my way to be a honeypot or things like this, I will be complimentary. I'll be nice, sweet, and not negate, and I'll let them have their say. And you're learning as you do that, you know? And so you let them speak. And sometimes you get very valuable information. And you can also ask the right questions. But the thing is not to invest yourself into players. what you do is you play with the players. And in a sense, it's okay for us that are like us because we're being kind at the same time. We're not shooting someone down. We're actually playing along while lifting and encouraging by being a mirror, or actually being someone who's trying to be kind.
So he's admitting to lying about being a kind person here. To those that he thinks are trying to manipulate him. So when does he turn that on and off? Where he's feeling something different than what he's portraying. Now, I'm all for keeping your emotions in check and thinking logically about things. I mean, obviously, find that out by watching all of my content here. But he's admitting here that if he has that aha moment of, oh, this is someone I probably shouldn't be dealing with, he has it down so well that he'll try to trick that person into thinking that he's still on board with them. That's not being genuine, is it? The older I get, the more blunt I get. I mean, it's a chore here today to censor my swearing. I'm trying to be better about that here, because I swear up a storm on this show. I don't do that with the deep dives, but here I was dropping MFers the past several shows.
Compassionate at the same time, but not allowing our heads on the block. Not allowing them access to what we love most, our cherished, or our treasures. What we're doing is we're not giving them anything. We're simply dialoguing with them.
Right.
And so in a sense, it's playing a game of dialogue.
Yeah.
Go
But
ahead.
as time goes by, you learn the dialogue and you learn to recognize it.
There you go. He's not gonna give any of you out there, hosting or watching, anything. He will only give you dialogue. Which that's what he's doing on all these shows, is just running his mouth.
Yeah, there's certain talking points that'll surface. You'll see certain, well, they'll get to the point where they think you're being naive, but they'll suddenly throw in the hitch. The hitch. They'll suddenly give you this, like, okay, well, you can do this. It's the rug pull move. But if you haven't set yourself up to have the rug pulled, if this makes any sense, by not putting anything on the block, like your neck,
Right.
then when they pull the rug, it's just a great deal. Nothing to say.
Not that much to lose. And so also, like, if I were, so
No one said God bless you. Poor Angela just sneezed and nobody said God bless you.
the way I understand that from, the way I speak would be the law of correlation is always in play. So you always can see what's going on based on what they're saying. When you get off base is when you start believing that that person is delivering something for you that's so important.
You know the reason why people say God bless you? It's a tale of, at some point, it was thought that when people sneezed, it was their soul trying to escape the body. And that's why you say God bless you whenever someone sneezes. So that your soul doesn't escape. I just find that wild that neither Carmen or Tom said any form of God bless you here to Angela. And he's supposedly significant others with her. Like, what's that about?
That you have attached yourself and you can't get off.
Right, the temptation factor. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is also I would say to people too, if you're a couple or you're working with people you're close to, have a sacred space. We call it the sacred space, right? And so we share. Nothing stays secret. And these people, when they play you, they'll want you, don't tell Angela or don't tell so-and-so. Or she gets it, don't tell Tom, right? She's had that happen. That's what led to our trouble.
That would be a huge red flag for me.
Yeah, yeah, they did to both of us, didn't they?
We had no idea what was happening.
Mm-hmm. So they try to warn you off, quote, both of you at the same time. Then they see who your weak spot is, and they go for that all the way. It's like the 40 Ways of Power. They say, play both thrones, and then the one you can manipulate the most, go for that one. And so that's what they did with us.
They did it.
That's why he talks about Wachowskis, Matrix, Elon Musk, Disney, Miramax, Joel Silver, Bonaventura, Rankin, Boyd. He brings all of these up, But he's focused lately on just talking about Musk and the Matrix, because that's what sticks. That's what works for him. That's why you don't hear about the Lenny Coco revelation. That's why you don't hear about him acquiring a lawyer to help him out here. He said in the past he had no intentions of doing any of this, taking people to court or anything. He didn't want to do any of this, he said originally. That someone forced his hand to go to court. I wonder who did it.
So well, what happened, what backfired was he came back and we talked. And if he hadn't come back and we hadn't talked, we wouldn't figured out what happened.
Right. While they're playing me at the same time. The woman that was getting her to destroy me was courting me. And so I wasn't having it, and so they went full on her. And then the woman ends up telling me, I taped it actually, where she's telling me, well, I was told to do it by this FBI contacted person, and I was told what to say to Angela, and I was told what to say, and to other hosts and interviewers, but it's not me, Tom. I was told to say it. It's like,
It was just a...
I'll tell you this much, Tom. I'm not having any outside influence about questioning your story. I've had people say that they've worked with you, but they also seem like they're wounded individuals where they feel the need to lash out and attack. But, like, no, I'm not being controlled by any agency. I'm not paid off to do any of this. I'm doing this on my time. It's nearly 3 hours today. This is part 19, episode 19. But I'm sure he'll say that, like, well, he's already said it. I'm an anonymous, and I'm doing the same thing his sister's doing. So that gives us some perspective here of how he ends up treating people if things get tough.
Off chance that she happened to be messaging him, and I was like, she's messaging you? Because she was messaging me that she was annoyed and was never going to talk to me and this and the other, and then we just pieced it together what happened.
Yeah, and that's all the time where they're doing this whole thing where it's not to, they try to divide you where you're not supposed to talk to each other. But transparency is the key. You talk to each other. Don't ever let them shut down your sacred space and channel communication. That's really important. They're going to urge that.
If your soul gets offended, honor it. One more, as far as like if a guy has a honeypot coming after him, how would you say that they could recognize one of those?
Oh, I know the best way on that is have a woman you trust, and don't let them know. And so a woman you trust, it could be like a best friend, it could be somebody who's a work associate that you really trust, and you give them that position. Women are smart, so let a woman figure out a woman. If a honeypot's coming to you, let a woman onto her. And then she gets to overhear and see, and also if...
What if the woman you trust, Tom, is also another honeypot? Then you have the honeypot giving you, like, advice on how to handle the other honeypot. How does that work? What if they're working together?
If it's a genuine good person, a woman would be sisterhood and say, okay, well, she's cool. I think she's pretty cool.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, and men shouldn't do it on their own.
He can't even trust his own sister. I don't know. I shouldn't even say that. And I try to keep my personal life and information out of a lot of this stuff because really it's not relevant to this. Like, Tom's putting his whole life out on public display for everyone to just dissect and decipher. He's willingly going out and doing this. I keep certain information to myself. Things that need to remain private remain private. It's called life, and everyone, for the most part, has a private life. But Tom's all on full display here besides his, like, talking to himself while he's cleaning the dishes. That's the only thing you could find out firsthand in person with. But, like... You don't hear me talking about my sister. Like, I have a sister that my dad got remarried and had another child with that remarriage. And so she doesn't share the same mom as me, but she shares the same dad. But we don't speak, but it's not like we're on bad terms. It's just they're on the other side of the country. They're on the East Coast. She's doing stuff with her family. Because my dad's not with her mom anymore either. Information you don't need to know. Also, like stuff that, like friendships, collaborations that I've had in the past. Like, I don't share all the details out on here. I especially don't go on other shows and share those details. Especially if that person's not there to speak for themselves. If they're not, like, hypothetical situation, a fallout happens. Neither person's talking to each other. One of those people decides to go on a live, public, to go air dirty laundry. Sometimes distance is the answer for a lot of your problems. And some people can't handle the distance. But there's a reason why certain things aren't talked about. It's not relevant to any of this, is it? The only reason I brought my sister up is because I brought up Tom's sister. But the difference here is that I have no beef with my sister. In fact, you know, I'll send her a text after this. But you know, and I was thinking about calling my dad today. Now, Tom, for a while there, he was saying like his sister, like, suffocated his dad, something like that, like made him die in the hospital, something like that. Who knows? Who knows what really happened with that? I know there's vindictive family members, and there's a lot of families that have the black sheep. I got friends talking to me about their aunts and uncles, all right? Like, it's reality. Some of these people need to know where your boundaries are, and some of them don't like it. So that's how it is. It's like, jeez. Now, one thing that I haven't seen with, like, looking at all these interviews that Tom has done after cutting things off with me is he's not going on to shows talking about all the good stuff I did for him. He's just saying I'm like everyone else that's evil, that's against him. That's what he says. But yet here in this interview, he's saying about how he always remembers the good things that people have done for him. Yeah, well, he doesn't talk about them. He sure loves to talk about all the bad shit people has done to him, doesn't he? What a joke. For as convicted as this guy is, and if he was really genuine, we'd be hearing a lot more information from this guy. And we're not. Like, he's been accused of narcissism, talking in circles. You ask a direct question, and he somehow brings it back to his usual talking points. He doesn't venture too far off the reservation. Zenray says he claims his sister starved him to death. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was something with the medication too. But you don't hear about that anymore, do you? He's going on to these different shows. He's not talking about his dad, his sister, and like, he's not talking about that stuff that really affects him. It's part of his public story. It's just weird.
They'll fail.
And there's
Yeah, because one of the young men that I know that I work with, he actually had the Illuminati or somebody come and offer him money to just be with them. He's like, oh, we can get you into movies, we can do this, and we can give you a certain amount a month. And I was just like, do not go anywhere near that. Do not go anywhere near that. But I was wondering, like, should he make it to the next level? Are they going to throw women at him? Because I know that they go for your weak spots.
Exactly. You're profiled. You are profiled. And if you're worth your salt as a writer or performer, things like that, they will. Chances are, look at it this way. What your friend could do is just say, okay, look, they're acknowledging that I am effective, influential, and talented. And then just own that and go forward. You don't be the crutch of these people. It'll never be a good deal.
I'll be like, call Angela and Tom, they'll get you in a movie.
they will profile you, and whoever comes your way is just going to act like they just happen to have the same life, happen to have had the same experiences.
Well, tell them the prelude to this. Before you were focused in on by the group, she was getting these Twitter invites.
Oh my goodness!
And how they're staged.
I still get them. I get Twitter followers, and I've had dozens of men follow me on Twitter, and it's just amazing. They'll have like things that I like, like roses. I love roses, so they'll have like a dog holding a rose in his mouth, or their band will be roses, or they'll have a daughter in their arm, or just they've had every like Baskin Robbins 31 flavors. They've had every flavor thrown my way of men to see if I would bite.
Even lookalikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you had to guess how long Hollywood takes to become Hollywood, which is our dream, how many?
Did Tom really do that? It's like, yeah, they're throwing lookalikes of me at my girl Angela here. They're so hilarious. Like, she's not there anymore. What happened?
Years do you think this is going to take?
It could happen overnight right now.
Yeah.
If we make this film, that's what I'm saying. I love when people donate because we're going to give credits on the. I'm not using this as a commercial opportunity. Just doing this as an example.
No, you do whatever you want.
Well, you're a sweetheart. It's like what we're going to do is we're going to get in the credits. Thank yous to everybody that did donate. And make it in the film itself when it's actually made the way it's supposed to be, and everybody learns what it's supposed to be. But that film, we're told, is overnight change. Overnight change. Because everybody in the industry knows that they say that guy wrote it, and it's like so. That's why they're told not to tell, but they're all telling. So it can happen overnight.
And so much in history is going to make sense to people after they see this.
That's right.
Oh gosh, yeah, because that's
Really
like
Oval
putting
Office.
all the dots together. And so, how much are you raising?
We're told to raise at least something like 2 million, but we're going to go forward with even 50,000. So it's like because we even Jeff said it last night. He said even rudimentarily done. I make up words. Rudimentarily done. Even rudimentarily done. We'll say that. It's going to still carry. The power is in the script, right? So it doesn't need all the special effects and everything. It's going to answer the questions for people love it or hate it. How it all ties together. All these images are iconic. The Wachowski said they'll let audiences figure it out for themselves. We'll let the real author help out with a great team and people who helped out donate to explain it. We'll explain it since they can.
Yes, it's incredible. Well, thank you both so much. Is there anything that either one of you wanted to share with people in this day and time for anything that is affecting your lives?
I would say you guys pull off femininity to the T. I mean, you have done it well. Class, presence, beauty, and
you guys pull off femininity to a T. What a poor choice of words, Tom.
intelligence, everything, and a willing.
Frankie D says Angela must have wised up to his bullshit. Well, it seems so. Because they already admitted here that, like, they had several instances where she was questioning everything. Like, you really don't remember watching this movie? And he probably said some bullshit romantic-y thing like, now when it's with you, it's like I'm watching it for the first time. And you know, he probably said some weird things like that. All it takes is one lie to be exposed and the dam opens up. And that's what we're experiencing here.
And a heart for the world, servants. So I think you got femininity down to a T, and I hope other guys will focus on their masculinity and really, embrace nurturing, compassion. That is where the real power and courage lies. To do that, to be a really good dad, to be a really good husband, to be a really good person who serves the community and the world through.
Why is everyone always sick then around you, Tom? You were sick when I visited you. You're sick on some of the other interviews I did with you. Your hair was wet in one of them. Looked like you came out of a cryo chamber. And then here Angela is sniffling like she's coming down with something. Why is everyone sick?
Whatever you do that you're gifted in your area, that's masculinity. Yes. And think of it, how many of us would love a father that actually loves us, nurtures us from what it shapes us into? We can be that. Yes. And so I'm calling men to be masculine the way they should be.
Well, Tom is definitely an example of that, and he does it to a T.
Oh.
I wish we could share pictures of him cooking and.
Oh yeah, Tom's the poster boy for masculinity, huh?
Cleaning and hanging laundry and reading stories to
Swinging
my
kids and
daughter.
blankets.
Swinging, yes. I love to be picked up in a blanket and swung back and forth. He jumps on the trampoline with them. He
The toy.
works in the garden. He gardens. Yes, I wish I just
Endless philosophy. But yeah, that's it. I think it's
Hold
right
on.
on the trampoline.
done the way they should. Actually loves us.
Does it to a T.
Oh.
I wish I could share pictures of him cooking and cleaning and hanging laundry and reading stories to
Swinging
my
kids and
daughter.
blankets.
Swinging, yes. I love to be picked up in a blanket and swung back and forth. He jumps on the trampoline with them. He
The toy.
works in the garden. He gardens. Yes, I wish I just
Endless philosophy. But yeah, that's it. I think it's right here.
The trampoline. So that trampoline was at least 3 years old or older when I was on that so he's living in a different place here, but he only moved like 5 minutes down the street from where he used to live. And in the new place, he had the trampoline in the backyard. And I went out there every morning to get like exercise and stuff. It was nice. I just went out there solo in the morning, just bounced around waiting for this dude to wake up. And then I go back to sleep, and then he's wondering why, like, no work got done. Well, like, I'm waiting. This is your house. I'm waiting for you to say you're ready. You have a short, like, your 5-minute window where if I don't attend to your needs, then the moment's gone and the whole day's wasted. Like, this is the mentality of Tom here. Frankie D says, what is he, Mr. Mom? Yeah. I'm sure that's what's in his head.
We have an example of femininity and masculinity the way it's supposed to be, and I that's what we need. Hollywood didn't want that out. They want to mix everything up and make it into a mud pile.
And they've really gotten it twisted now. And so tell people where they can donate. Tell them where they can reach you, where they can reach Angela. Go ahead and take your time too.
Go ahead.
So our webpage, when you log onto it, a screen pops up and with our PayPal account, and I believe we let them know on there, if you donate to our to our work, we're going to give you credit. We're going to thank you in the credits unless you tell us not to.
What credits? For what material? Where will my name be credited if I gave money to this asshole? I'm so glad I didn't. You know? Oh. I want to swear so much right now.
Then, I always send out a thank you, let them know, and that we will give them a thank you and the credits when we find her original work made.
I love it. And what's the website?
Redpillrising.org.
Redpillrising.org. Okay. And I'm going to make sure I have all this in the description box, but I just wanted to go ahead and,
and if you just go to PayPal on your own, this paypal.me/reclaimmatrix. So if you just look up Reclaim Matrix, and the email address for the PayPal account is reclaimmatrix@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else for you, Tom, or do you guys want to give out your Twitter or Facebook or any of that?
Yeah, you can check me. I'm maxed out on friends on Facebook, which is such a blessing since it was all about isolate and alienate. So what I'm doing is I'm directing people to my other sites too. There's a threat to strike them, but why not just have fun while they're still there? So yeah, so there's a Facebook account. It's me with my son on my back on Maui, like our last day on Maui. He's on my back, Aiden, and smiling, and I'm smiling. The dad like sideways, and so that's Tom Althouse. And there's also
oh man, like he has concepts of what he thinks is normal, and he remembers these photographs and he latches onto them. I don't know anymore. Oh my god.
a Matrix Regime Facebook site and a Tom Althouse author site, and people are willing and perfectly invited to that. So love to have you guys there. So many people coming forward. It's wonderful. So I don't know how long I'll be able to stay up because some of the powers aren't too happy about what we're doing. But it's okay. We're gonna have a better world. And so
it's okay. You see, it's all okay.
Yeah.
And I share interviews and other things on Gab.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at Bearclaw Frogs.
I support Gab in concept, but it is such an echo chamber. Like, nobody uses Gab. I'm sorry. Nobody fucking uses Gab. Tell me here if anybody watching uses Gab. I have an account. I have like 2 accounts. I have a personal account and the Yissilmissil account. Never any reach on that platform. as much as like freedom of speech they want to, like I can go on that site and say anything I want, but like it's gonna be into the void. Like at least here on YouTube and sometimes with Rumble, like it gets traffic, but like Gab, forget about it. At least BitChute has, I get 40 views in an hour or two, and then it kind of tapers off, and then maybe I'll get a few hundred on each video over time. But Gab, it's similar reach that X has, where people will, it'll say that like it got viewed 60, 70 times, but no likes or interactions. At least here I'm seeing results, but like this is like less than the minimum that I would expect out of a platform like this.
PRODS. And I share things on Twitter, which is the same thing, at BearClawProds. Twitter had me, I had to narrow it down to prods, so I just did the same thing on Gab to make it easier.
Easier to remember, absolutely. You guys are so amazing and so delightful, and it's so fun to be in the presence of the love that you two have.
Thank you.
Not just each other, but for life and for family and for the world. Like literally, like just.
Frankie D says, don't know what Gab is, but I just subbed to you on Rumble. Thank you, Frankie. Yeah, I'll be doing the lives like this simultaneously on YouTube and Rumble as long as the computer handles it. Like, it's been golden today. So, yeah, all my content eventually it's going to be up on the other platforms, but YouTube is where I get everything out first. And now we have Rumble that we're doing a simulcast with, so it's all good.
Keep radiating out, and I love it. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Carmen, for being you. I mean, this is fantastic to get on here when I'm supposed to be isolated, shut off, and instead I'm talking to amazing, beautiful people and sharing a world with them too. So this is great.
Yeah, thank you, and I'll make sure.
Again, what is up with this door handle? This looks like some Comet ping pong shit.
That once I get this in, that I'll put all your information in the description box.
Perfect.
All right,
Oh. Alright, so we're not going to watch this today. It kind of played into itself. Alright. See, it's still telling me only one is watching, so maybe YouTube's just not reflecting it properly? That's crazy. Alright, now's a good time. So, I am very tired. As I said before, I didn't get any sleep last night. Not that I was stressing over anything, I was just trying to get work done, and it's just never ending here. But, hopefully it'll let up in the weeks to come. It's just, I keep myself busy, and there's so many things I want to do. Just like Tom here, he wanted to do so many things. But it's 5 years after that interview we just watched, and what is it? What has he done since then? So, with that being said, thank you everyone for being here. Now, don't go away right away because I'm going to show the intro again. I'm going to show the intro that I played at the beginning. It's clips of Tom being hypocritical, and I'm going to be adding more to that as we go along. As I have the time to go in my editor, like between doing all the reels and then the deep dive shows and reels for the deep dive show, like all of that takes so much time up. But in between, when I do have time to work on this show's intro, because it really doesn't have one, this is what the show is going to have an intro as going forward. So I'll sign off here, and then I will play that for all your viewing pleasure, and then that'll be the end of the stream. So I won't be coming back after this. So thank you all again for being here. We are seeking truth in film and politics, and we got caught up in a shyster. So, whatever. Until the next one. We're gonna get you, Tom. You're not gonna be able to do this charade for much longer. Until the next one. Class dismissed.
I'm not out to put anybody down. No one. I don't want to be drawn into so-and-so, and he's putting down so-and-so. No, I don't have time for that. People like myself, we're quick to forgive, we're quick to embrace. We'll be like somebody says, I'm sorry for, you got me. Let's celebrate. That's how we are. Instantly forgive. This has got to stop. This garbage of false glory has got to stop, and I'm tired of it. Let's stop being turned on each other. And let's stop looking for ways to accuse each other of turning on each other. And let's start lifting each other. And we've got this. Those 14 other screenplays going on 15 that I have is for the new world order, new world that is our people.
Yeah.
So I am presenting my dear.
This is a big mistake because she's already got a huge ego.
I do not have a huge ego.
You're feeding the beast.
I don't have a huge ego. I have a huge sense of.
This is the birthday
Oh,
present
God. I gotta
that
film
right.
this.
Oh, I
And
love
so
it.
it goes to who I consider should be honorary Queen of the World for your courage,
Thank you.
brilliance, beauty, compassion, divine feminine, and never say no.
Thank you, baby.
There you are.
I so appreciate
You
that.
have earned that, Mother.
Of
You
course, I
were.
remember when I was
or whatever
running
it
for
is.
president as a socialist, and I'd go out there and I'd say, socialism is the only thing that can save America.
Yeah, if I'm a fraud, bring it on. Let's do it. Come on, it'll be easy to debunk if I'm a fraud.